I like I said, I threw it to everyone. I was like, hey, I like made like I didn't even like I just made this fucking huge old message and sent it to everyone.
Well, okay, so we're live.
We're live.
We are live. This is gonna be a weird show because I'm trying something new. I'm gonna go without my pop filter on my microphone. I'm worried, but I think this will provide better sound quality. Hopefully, without the plosives. So, Yattering, you haven't been on the live show yet, so here's how it's going to happen. I'm not going to officially introduce you until 5 minutes have passed, or we have at least 5 people in
spoiler alert.
We have 5?
We have 5.
All right, so I guess buckle up, because here we go then.
You're listening to FFOP Radio.
Reach the
Hey everybody, and welcome to the show. It is #Flamingo Friday, and my kid is asleep, so that means it is time for a show. I'm going to knock everything on my desk over.
Perfect.
#Flamingo Friday. Thank you for showing up. Let's roll right into it. You know why you're here. I know why you're here. His name is in the title of this video. Help me. Now, he's been on the podcast, so if you haven't heard the podcast appearance, I'm going to recommend that after we're done here. But welcome, my friend, local hip-hop artist Yattering on the show. Hey, Yattering, what's up?
What's going on, brother? How you doing?
Doing good, man. I'm glad we could get you on the live show.
Dude, I'm so glad to be here.
The podcast went so great. I was like, okay, let's go ahead and roll into everything I got, which just happened to be the other thing that this is.
Oh yeah.
So here we are.
Yeah, when you hit me up the second time, I was like, absolutely. I'm not going to pass on that. I was super excited about it. I mean, right after we did the first podcast, man, everything's really just kind of been going uphill since then for me, dude. And I really appreciate you. I really feel like you kind of really helped jumpstart that, and also helped give me a lot of confidence to continue to do like other interviews and like, perform and stuff like that, man. So I appreciate you.
Yeah, I feel like the last time you were on, we barely scratched the surface because we didn't even get to crack into like your horror side and fandom that we can go into later. But yeah, so let's roll right into it and talk about this. So recently, Arizona Hip Hop Fest was here. I saw all the clips that you were interviewed. So tell me, give me like a rundown of what Hip Hop Fest was like. Like what was going on, man?
Yeah. So that was a lot of fun. What happened was I hit up one of the guys that runs the underground AZ fucking goddamn the Arizona underground hip hop respect to underground. His name is Justice. He fucking runs a lot of that. He kind of sets that up. Another guy, Muzzy, that runs Icon Radio, they kind of get together on that, and it was great. It was a good time. Like they had it at the Monarch Theater. So that's how they were able to host it. Because normally they've been trying to pitch this because the Arizona Hip Hop Festival is something that does happen annually. Right. And honestly, it's a huge festival. Like for a lot of people that don't know what it is, they should definitely look into it because it's huge. That's why I was just so honored to be able to like perform there with a lot of big people. But I was able to hit them up, see if they had a slot, got a slot. They asked me if I wanted to do an interview as well. I was able to go, but so the Monarch Theater, they had it there because they were able to host it as like a restaurant event. So where people could eat, because like you can't really have concerts now because of COVID, you got to be safe. You got to keep your distance. So they were able to set up tables. You had to buy seating, and kind of like go, and it was, a little bit more, separated. People were definitely a little bit more apart and stuff like
so
that.
There was some social distancing then. There was
a little bit more social distancing and stuff like that, which was nice for me because I felt like, honestly, I was able to go for free.
That's great.
I didn't have to pay. I'd have to pay for a ticket to be able to get in there and go because I was performing. So I was able to see everyone perform. because like when you paid, you had to pick a slot of the time that you wanted to go there and eat and see the performer that you were going to see.
Oh,
But I
yeah,
was
that
able to
makes
go and
sense.
see everyone and meet a lot of people. And to me, that was kind of the reason why I really wanted to go and perform, was to kind of show my face and
for
let
sure,
everyone know in
yeah.
Arizona that like I'm actually here, because a lot of people don't know about me. So now they're gonna start knowing about me.
So let me ask you this: like when you were performing, I only saw little snippets of it because. You having a new child also realize that time is a very valuable asset. So when you were performing, did you do your like prepared cuts, or did you do some freestyle stuff? What was going on there?
So I didn't really do a whole lot of like freestyling stuff. I'll definitely have to like incorporate that sometime though. That'd be good. But
See, I'm an idiot when it comes to this
what
stuff.
I did was like I did one of my new songs, This Way and That. I performed As the Clock Stops, as well as I performed a Dream that Rain's featured in. And I actually was able to have her perform with me. Rain, she's on a lot of my songs.
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah, I was like, that is very cool. I love the atmosphere that place put off, like from your videos and everything. Like what I can't imagine. Like, I'm obviously too scared to leave the house, but kudos to you and the fact that they were doing like the social distancing and everything. But it just looked like a total blast, man.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, man. I mean, when I wasn't on the stage, I obviously wore my mask the entire time.
For sure.
But yeah, it was crazy because they had 3 different stages. There was one downstairs where all of the bigger artists perform. Like KP, shout out to you, brother. Dude, man, that guy's fucking great, dude. You should look up his music, bro. I'll shoot you his Instagram for sure. But yeah, KP down here, awesome, very, very good. It's almost like it's so different to be able to describe, but it's hip hop for sure. But it's definitely got a little bit more, like a lot of like rock influence in there for sure.
Oh, that's cool.
A lot of rock. Almost kind of like I don't. Hopefully he doesn't mind if I say this, but almost like metallic type. Like a more old school type rock.
Right.
Like Pandora and Pantera and shit like that.
Part of the reason I like having you, I wanted to have you back on, I liked having you on the first time, is like, letting people know that maybe you're showing up just because you know the show or whatever. Maybe you're showing up for Yattering, but either way, you're going to get like maybe some eye-opening stuff. Because like, I feel like rap and hip hop and these sort of, everybody has like a narrow-minded view of certain genres. Like, I know a person who said she hates rock and roll, and I almost slapped her.
Oh my god!
Because to shut out an entire genre like that is fucking insane.
Yeah.
So when people say like I don't like rap, I'm like, you don't fucking know what you're talking about. Like, there are so many versions and variations. Like, it's just stupid to me. However, that being said, all of these new variations, there's something out there for everybody. Like, your horror inspired songs, I really dig, honestly.
Hey man, I appreciate that.
All the stuff we played on the podcast, like, I dig those tracks. Like, I think, and I hope you're working toward this, is like a full blown album, possibly themed.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I definitely want to be like, I do like a complete like either EP or an album that is completely like horror themed. Just because like I love that shit, man. Like that's what I grew up in, and you can drench so much reality in horror. It's amazing. It's fantastic. I mean, like you watch the movie Hereditary, and that's fucking horrifying. And a lot of that has to deal with like the drama of the family, And if you take away the horror elements, a lot of it's still like fucking really deep.
That's what
and some of it's almost kind of
everybody forgets that you need compelling characters. Just because you're in a horror story doesn't mean you can have one-dimensional ass wipes behind the wheel. Like all of your greatest horror stories, movies, etc., have compelling characters. That's what makes a story good.
Yeah, it makes you remember it.
Yeah, like don't get me wrong. There's gonna be a huge slice of my pie that goes for cheese. Like I love the Friday the 13th franchise, but I'm not going there for characters. I go to that when I want to see a bunch of knuckleheads get slaughtered.
Dude, seriously, fuck yeah. That's what I like about like horror. Like if you read like I like it like when it's cut to the point, like super, like sometimes it doesn't need to make sense. It can be really mysterious. That's why we were talking about the cosmic horror and Cthulhu and shit like that. That's like fucking shit that doesn't make sense. But yeah, I want to definitely do something that is a little bit more horror. What I want to incorporate too is a lot more screams into my stuff, make it a little bit more dark and heavy. Because I kind of felt like I was getting away from that for a little bit and kind of doing stuff that was more melodic, a little bit more hip hoppy. Just because a lot of that stuff, I was just kind of fucking around with different sounds, and a lot of that stuff is really appealing to the ear, and especially when if you're in hip hop, you kind of want to show people that you're able to make those sounds that they're normally able to hear from other artists or
you
and stuff like that. But I liked everything that I've done. I feel like I've always added some touch of like myself. Like anything you listen to, you can be like, oh, okay, like this. Like Dream is very soft, and I feel like it's very old school, and it's structured a certain way, and there's songs that are structured probably the same way, but the thing is if you hear something, it has my thumbprint on it, and that's kind of what I always want. It maybe has always a little dash of horror. If the whole song isn't horror related, maybe just a little mention and nod, but one of my songs I feel like was super heavy and drenched in horror was Malevolate. I mean, that whole song was
right.
It's about horror.
And this is something I recommend to every artist. I don't care what medium you're in. If you're a painter, a fucking singer, whatever, if you're a writer, like shop around genres, like whatever medium you're in, like do a little dabbling in every flavor that shit has to offer. Because even if you don't think you'll like it, you may learn something from it. And you, not necessarily like you may get into something like you were saying earlier, you wanted to move away from the more melodic stuff and get into the horror stuff. But, in a situation like that, you just sort of have to, in my opinion, follow what your muse is. Like oftentimes I find myself doing things that aren't necessarily in a genre or a specialty that I necessarily want to do, but that's what I feel like doing. So I do it just in case I need something in this setting later.
Yeah, that's kind of what it's about too. Like you got to just kind of go with like what you feel like. It's the same way with music. I feel like I'll be writing a song, and I'll get through it, and I'll kind of get like a little bit of I'll just kind of like go dry on that song for a little bit and be like, okay, I'm not really thinking of anything, but I'll listen to another beat and I'll just kind of feel that a little bit more, and I'll like fucking write a song in like 15 minutes, like just because like that's what I'm feeling at the time. That's the kind of sound that I'm liking, and that's always what I go with. Is I never try to force anything. I never try to put anything that goes out of something that you wouldn't feel. But it's always about trying to like, I don't know, like when people like a lot of hip hop artists and people are like, oh, like I'm in there in the lab, and it's like, then treat it like a fucking lab. Like go in there and experiment, motherfucker. Like go make some shit up. Like do something different. Like don't do the same shit that everyone's fucking listening to. Like don't go so heavy on the auto tune all of the time. It's like everyone hears that shit on the fucking radio. Like no one wants to hear the shit that's on the radio anymore.
Let me ask you this, because I think this is probably like if I had to distill it down to one underlying problem, here it would be when someone gets into whatever they're into, let's say hip hop, or let's say writing a horror story or whatever it is. If you aren't writing in your own voice, and the thing in which you are placing, the song or the story or the movie or the whatever it is, the piece of art, if you don't listen to yourself, and if you don't answer the questions that you have in your own head, like if it's not true to you, what the fuck are we doing here? You know what I mean? Like for your songs, you're putting into it, you're saying this sounds good to me, and that's where it starts. Because if you say what sounds good to you, people are going to be like, I don't know, bland generic shit, and that's what you start making.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like that's what you want. That's what you want to sound different. Is you want to make something that sticks. That's how you stick out. That's how you stand out. That's how you're like. That's how you get remembered. Or you're like, fuck. Like people like that. Like a lot of the people that I listen to and that I want to be able to work with. Like, what's up, Side Music? I see that you're in here, bro.
Yeah.
But like him, like he's fucking awesome. Like he does a lot of stuff that's also in like a different language, and I like that. Like I want to be able to infuse. I obviously I can't speak another language. I took two Spanish classes and I can't remember shit. Like I'm Hispanic and I can't even, But anyways, so but yeah, like I would love to be able to like, and we're going to be making a song where it's like more. Like obviously I'm rapping in English and then it just completely switches to another language and it's going to showcase that style as well, because like that's so awesome when you're able to mix in different styles and do other things, and like that's standing out, even and that's what's cool too, is when you're working with other artists you're able to completely find sounds that you didn't know about. You're able to, if you think about it, like you're able to grow.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of nowadays a lot of people are really snobby, and like with this guy at my work, I was like, hey man, like, because he makes music, I was like, oh dude, fuck, you make music, like, how much do you do for like a feature, bro? Like, do you charge? And he's like, oh yeah, bro, I charge. And I was like, yeah, dude, of course. Like, what is it? We should try to collab, bro. And he was like, oh, it's like $250. And I was like, bro, who the fuck are you? You're gonna charge me $250? Like, I was like, dude, get the fuck out of here, bro. Like, I know fucking artists, like, I know producers that are like fucking bigger than you. Like, I don't even know who the fuck you are, dude. Like, but anyways, it's like, but the thing is like, that's your price and that's what you charge. But it's like, dude, why are you working at like a call center, bro?
That's why. But
here's
the thing. When you get into this sort of, the world of artists and talent, your ego doesn't necessarily have to stay in proportion with your talent. You can, in everything I've ever dabbled in, I feel like I could outperform the next guy at half the price simply because I give a shit about what I am doing.
Fuck yeah.
And if you're doing it for the money, that's fucked. Like, if I did literally anything for the money, I would literally do nothing. So I do it for the sake of itself. I do it for the sake of art. I do it for the sake of comedy. I do it for, exposure, meeting new people like you. And it pays for itself in that way.
Yeah, man. I mean, all of this goes forward. Like, the thing is we work together. If we keep growing like this, man, like in the end, like we're all going to be able to eat, man. Like,
that's,
like we're all going to be able to eat,
The high tide.
I'm not worried about that right now, like, right, dude, you are helping me right now, like getting further, dude. Like, and that's super appreciated,
Well, my scope is very limited, so whatever the case may be, I'm glad to offer it.
Can we shout out everybody in the typing square?
Oh, please,
We've got Kayla in the typing square. We've got Daryl.
Hell yeah.
Daryl.
Psy Music. Susie Scarf.
What up?
Helena. We've got Lil.
Yo, what's up, everyone?
CRINJ.
I love all you guys.
And Hipsy Gypsy. Hanging
Yo,
out.
what's up, Hipsy Gypsy? What's up, Sarah? How you doing? And then Daryl, that's actually Rain. Yeah, she was performing with me.
There you go. So,
Nice.
you're
Big
a
shout
draw.
out to her.
You're a draw, Yattering. That's what I can always count on is you bring the crowds.
If anybody has any questions for
Lil Cringe, what's up, dog?
anybody.
So let's get into the horror aspect a little, because I've been chomping at the bit for a while to talk to you about this.
Okay, man. Yeah, let's do it. I know you're stoked.
So I know, we touched upon, your handle being based on the Yattering and Jack, a Clive Barker story.
For anyone who doesn't know who Clive Barker is, by the way,
who doesn't know who Clive Barker
even
is?
I do.
Well, a lot of people don't. Yeah.
That's
Well, a lot
nuts.
of people don't read, I feel like, nowadays, but that's okay. So Clive Barker is a badass motherfucker. If you guys haven't seen the movie, you guys need to go watch Hellraiser right now and
like
get
everybody knows
familiar
a
on that.
Hellraiser.
Yeah, because that shit's dope. Don't watch all of the. I mean, all of the other ones aren't bad because it's still dope, but still, the first one's the shit.
The first two are great. The second one
the first
is
two are
a
great.
kind of a drop off, but
it slowly starts going downhill.
Right. but whatever. It's like the Friday the 13th franchise, the Halloween franchise, whatever. Sometimes they sweeten as they get older, and sometimes they don't.
I haven't even finished. Like, I haven't even watched all of the Friday the 13th, like, as the franchise, just because, like, I don't want to watch some of it and get disappointed, because, like, there's certain characters that I feel like you just love so much and you hold dear, and it's like, I don't want to watch a movie and it just completely fucks them.
Well, the good thing about Jason is, like, since he's played by so many characters and he's like this mythical figure, he's bigger than life. So there's nothing that anyone, and added bonus, he can't talk, so that no one can fuck up the way he writes. So since he is a silent, mythical killing machine, he's always spotless in all of these movies.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's the one character that comes out unscathed every time.
Yeah,
Like,
that's true.
the cannon fodder sucks. The police force sucks. The people on the boat in chapter 8 sucks. Everybody sucks. But Jason's always there to murder them. And that's why you're always there for the next one.
Even when he fought Freddy, he like walked out of the water like unscathed. Freddy was just the head.
Yeah, but that's part of it, is you cannot kill icons.
Mm-hmm.
It's
All right. So this is a big question. If we're getting into horror,
sure. Did we lose you?
what's happening here?
Ooh.
Oh no. I have no idea what's happening right now. My thing is acting crazy. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that.
No
My
problem.
shit was acting super haywire. Okay. So yeah, so the question, if we're getting into horror, is who's your favorite slasher?
Obviously, Jason Voorhees.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. From like a lot of just like the pictures I've seen like on your Instagram and stuff like that, you definitely rock that shit, bro.
Yeah.
And that photo shoot, like the Jason, that shit's scary, dude.
I'm glad.
That was my favorite photo shoot we've
Yeah.
done ever.
One of my favorites. It was months in planning
It
and
took
all the
so
work,
long.
and yeah, it was super fun. But yeah, Jason's my go-to because I feel like Michael Myers, something about him just turns me off. I don't know. He is a piece of white bread to me.
He creeps me out, but not in a good way. Like it's just weird.
It's just like a weird, like, yeah, I get, and then when Rob Zombie came in and tried to add backstory, I was like, this is not what Michael Myers needed. We did not need to know he did not need an Anakin Skywalker style backstory.
The first an Anakin Skywalker style. That's funny. But so the first Rob Zombie one was actually really good. Like that show was actually like I like that one. The second one with Rob Zombie, that was horrible. Like super just trash. Like that did not do good at all.
Yeah.
But the first one I actually really liked. Like when he fucking whopped that his like sister's like boyfriend over the head with that fucking bat. I was like, dude, that would suck.
But here's the thing.
I was like, man.
And
Never
that makes
gonna date
sense.
any girl with a fucked up brother.
That totally makes sense because Rob Zombie wanted to make the first one. That was an artistic goal that he had. And when he did it, he was like, there, I did it. I made it. Like, he wasn't looking to make more canon. He just wanted to make the Halloween movie he wanted. And then, Hollywood came knocking because the first one made so much money. More than what they thought, obviously. And Rob Zombie's like, I don't want to make another one. I don't want to make another one. And then they, they obviously just drove a dump truck of cash up to his front lawn. And he's like, fine, I'll make a fucking another one. And it shows. It's a piece of shit. It just feels like he's going through the motions and he's getting paid to do it. And
Oh shit.
a lot of artists happen that way. Like some dudes will just have, one artistic, you've seen it a million times. One hit wonders are our most poignant touchstones. Artists will have, some people have one good idea in them. Sometimes it's one song, sometimes it's one album. We've seen it. Like we've seen the one hit wonders come and go, and then we've seen people who've come release their seminal album, their like initial album that is amazing, and then everything they release is trash because they're like, oh god, now I've got to follow this amazing thing up, and they bend to trends, and it sucks.
Yeah, they bend the trends, or they just listen to too many like studio heads. Like they're just being controlled at that point. Because I think, like I said, like a lot of it too is like at a certain point, I feel like you make money, and it's just like fucking like that's unfortunately, sorry for but you get fucking rich, and then a lot of that creativity is just fucking gone. It's like you're not fucking you anymore. It's like somehow like getting rich like can fucking poison you somehow. If like if you're not careful,
you need to stay indie to make. Because here's the thing: what kills horror is money. If you throw a bunch of money at a horror movie, it sucks. All the best horror movies that everyone always gushes about are low rent because that's what makes them real. Like you shoot them guerrilla. Anything that's like $1 million or less is probably in the sweet spot for horror because horror is a passion genre. Like people make action movies for money. People make comic book movies for money. Horror is a passion genre for extremely passionate individuals who like seeing weird and or fucked up shit. And so
Yeah.
when big studios say, "Oh, we've got a good idea for a horror movie," and they throw $50 million at it, and it's dog shit because they don't know what's scary. Studios don't know what's scary. People know. Artists know what are scary to other humans. Conglomerations and boardrooms of people don't know shit about dick.
Well, this is a thing right now, and for everyone who's listening, the biggest difference between horror, like a lot of people think, like, you know, the Lights Out and the Conjuring movies, like they think all of those fucking movies are like horror now. And the thing is like they are, like, technically they're scary. They're scary stories. Like, yeah, they're horror movies. Like, people go and they get fucking scared. But the thing is, to me, that's like exactly what you're saying. That's big studio, like, horror movies, and to the point, it's like it's there. Some of them are fun to watch, but at the same time, it's just the same fucking story, and they're making all these Conjuring movies just to make money now, because the thing is people want to go watch them.
I think this exact same thing happened like 1880, because not in movies obviously, but like during the late 1800s they had that huge rise in like gothic horror, and so every horror story you read in the late 1800s was ghosts and lightning storms and werewolves and all the classic tropes and bats and castles and shit, because it sold. And people got tired of that shit. That's when, like, in the early 1900s, pulp broke out, sci-fi broke out. People were tired of castles and because it was what the masses wanted, but the masses don't know what they want. That's why they're stupid, and you don't want to appeal to them.
Well, that's when you start, and like this is the thing. It even goes with music as well. But when you have something that's going on for so long, you know, what happens is you start getting these people who are really creative and start breaking out of the box. Like back in the, like you said, like you started getting the sci-fi movies, right? Or the sci-fi stories. Well, people started blending like fucking sci-fi and horror together, like Event Horizon. Like that's about a ship, a spaceship that goes through fucking hell. That goes through hell. Like, that's awesome. Like I like that shit. Like, what? Like a spaceship that's in hell. And then what was it? There was a one by George R. R. Martin. It was that sci-fi show. Do you know
the sci-fi show that he did?
Yeah, well, he wrote a short story. Fuck, I'm forgetting what it's called. Oh, Night Flyers.
Oh, okay.
It's called Night Flyers, and it's supposed to be about like a haunted like spaceship. And like when I read the premise, I was like, that's fucking badass. Like, it's about this crew that goes into space, the scientists, because they're trying to find this alien life form that fucking lives through time. Like, they have a spaceship and they fly through time, like backwards in time.
You know what?
And so like so that's really cool. But the thing is when they're on the ship trying to find these people, is like that they end up finding out that the spaceship is haunted. And then you know, so that's a really cool premise. The story is not written very well, but it's still a pretty good fucking premise. I was like, that's a badass idea.
That's one of the things about horror and pulp and like cheap fiction and like this it's like comfort food. Horror is like a comfort food because it's formulaic. Well,
and I think some people have different I'm no movie buff at all. David can attest to that.
This
but
is true.
I feel like, and for me, horror also ties into like psychological thrillers for me, because that psychological thrillers are also scary, and that's what that
it depends on what scares you, because some people can watch something like I unfortunately was like, I'll watch Cannibal Holocaust because gore doesn't bother me. What a mistake, I'll tell you that. So that gore bothered me. But that's the thing. Some people are scared by psychological issues of like tension rising and stuff like that. Some people it's, you know, murders, and some people it's ghosts. But that's the thing about horror. It's just like every other, it's like hip hop. It's like every other thing. You can mix it with whatever else you want.
Like a subgenre.
Yeah, and I think that's what you need to you need to have happen. You need something to get so big it gets stale that people get sick of it and want to turn it on its head.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, you know, because everybody loves a big blockbuster movie until those are the only movies that are released, and you're watching a 2.5 hour explosion. You're like, oh my God, where am I? What am I doing here? And
what did I just spend my fucking money on?
Exactly.
What are we doing? Like,
there are so many albums from musicians out there that maybe started with a voice and found something that sold, forgot who they were, and then just picked up on what was popular. But then a bunch of people do that because it's easy.
Well, it's like all the boy bands from the 90s.
Yeah, there's a million different examples.
All the boy bands from the 90s.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there were
That
a
shit
million
used to
of them.
Honestly, like, I'm not gonna fucking lie right now. Like, back in the day, and I don't give a shit if anyone laughs. But back in the day when I was a kid, man, NSYNC was like my favorite
Hey,
band. Like
don't
when
get
I was
me
way
wrong.
small, like
Like-
that shit was good.
Backstreet Boys and NSYNC were like my boyfriends when I was back then. Like I wanted to be married to all of them.
And
But
there was a reason. Those people did not write their songs.
Right.
They were written by extremely intelligent and very talented people who wrote these amazingly catchy songs.
right, and the 90 Degrees came out. Like they all just
It's hard to
yeah.
because like everybody knows one of my guilty pleasures is Diamonds by Rihanna. And is that a good song? No, it's catchy as fuck though.
yeah.
Yeah,
And-
everyone has their like guilty pleasure, dude.
Yeah. It's like when everybody, everybody has this allegory where like you have that rock you hide under where you eat an entire can of frosting. And for me, that is Rihanna's Diamonds, because I'm like, you can't even hide it because it's such a visceral thing. Like Elton John songs, an amazing singer songwriter. Everything he writes, I feel like it just gets in your head.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there are people like that. They just know how to tell a compelling story. Friend of the show, Popeye. Yattering, I feel like your voice is definitely woven through your entire catalog, or at least what I've been exposed to. Like,
Hey man, I appreciate that.
the through line is there. And I feel
That's-
like, I bet, even if you put out like, you never have to do this obviously, because all of my ideas have never been taken up by a single soul. However, if you put out an album where each song was a different version of hip hop in a different subgenre or style, if nothing else, it'll be better than the time Garth Brooks tried to cosplay as a man named Chris Gaines. That will never be forgotten.
Kayla
That's
says
fucking so funny.
I listened to too much New Kids on the Block. And
Oh my
Helena
God.
said I took Yattering to NSYNC.
Whoa, look
Yeah,
at that.
happened. That was way when I was small. Just a wee little lad.
At the NSYNC, yeah. Yeah,
But
but
that shit was fucking dude, that was, I mean, goddamn, that was so long ago. But I haven't, I got to go to more shows and shit, dude. That's why I was glad to be able to go to the Arizona Hip Hop Festival. I got to see a lot of people perform. I was like, fuck yeah.
yeah,
I'm
I
getting
think
caught up on this.
now I've used to preach this a lot during the early stages of the coronavirus, but I should probably get back into it so I can stay home longer with more entertainment. But like, people are offering live streams of concert and stuff, and especially for like little artists, local artists trying to get their name out there, like to put on a live stream of like a live hip hop show or a live band gig or whatever, you need like $200 max.
I know. I wanted to do something like that, but it does, like, it kind of costs like a lot of money. You got to really go into like, what am I going to do? How am I going to do it? And there's a lot of people, like a lot of artists, like when this first hit, were doing like Instagram live shows, you
Sure.
know?
Yeah.
But I was like, fuck, these people are like Puya, like Jake Hill's doing this shit. I was like, man, these people are fucking big artists.
Didn't the Beastie
And then
Boys do that
you
too?
know, what?
Probably.
I could have swore the Beastie Boys released like a live concert on YouTube or something like that.
So many people
A
are
lot of,
doing
like, Blue
it.
October
Tech
did
Nine's
a bunch.
recent Tech Nine's doing it tomorrow. Fucking
That's
Dance
crazy.
Gavin Dance is doing it. Like everyone's doing it. Like Billie Eilish is doing it, and a lot of these people are like charging for it now. Like it's a normal show and stuff like that, which is fine. You know, you got to be able to make your money. Fuck,
Yeah.
dude. Like people are gonna pay for that shit.
But here's what I'm totally cool with that, because if you have like professional level production value, like if you're going to go to a Billie Eilish concert and all of that money is now thrown into a live stream, yeah, I would pay $10 because there's going to be
Fuck yeah.
professionals behind the camera making sure you literally have the best angle the whole fucking time. No nosebleeds.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's always
Oh,
front row or whatever. So I love the idea of a virtual concert, and I've watched probably 24 at this point.
Well, there's so many. That's the thing with like this COVID shit, is that they're doing so many virtual stuff, and they're just doing so many different types of things to try to get around like people not being able to go outside, and,
Oh,
and,
totally.
So the world's not going to be the same as far as like fucking virtual, fucking just technology goes, man. We're going to be doing so many different things. Like even after this, when people are even able to go to concerts, I'm sure there's going to be so many more virtual, concerts and all this different shit. Like even Travis Scott, he did a concert on Fortnite on a game.
Yeah.
Like people are doing crazy stuff. So it's cool, that you're able to do stuff like that.
This was just inevitable, though. I feel like at some point, because everybody watches sci-fi television and or whatever, and in every depiction of the future, you're watching a concert via a hologram or whatever. Like, we know this was going to happen, but I think COVID just sort of pushed it. They're like, hey, we can't make our money live anymore. However, we literally have the internet, which can reach not like a stadium. Like, let's say you can pack a stadium. Whoop-de-fucking-do. Like, if you can put that shit online professionally, and then, like, there's no cap on tickets?
No cap.
Like, that's, like, let's say, Yattering, let's say...
If you went to a fucking a concert in your fucking home and like you're like, oh, I want to go buy a ticket and there was no more tickets, I'd be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
How do you only have 100? How do you only have 100 tickets? Like, what could you not afford?
Yeah.
You couldn't afford more online fake tickets.
Daryl said Billie Eilish was charging $60.
Woof.
And Kayla says, of course she did, because she's the bad guy.
I would hope that you get a fucking hard copy afterwards.
She's the bad guy. She just took your fucking money, dude. And she doesn't even need to wear a mask anymore.
Right.
Well, so like, here's the thing. Like, all things considered and safety precautions as they are, like, you and I could possibly put together like a live stream concert where I'm running around like, and we could do like something like that. Like, it doesn't, you don't necessarily need a wildly expensive production.
If that's something that you want to, if that's something you want to do, we can absolutely get into that, man. Absolutely.
I think that live music, I've totally come around. When I was a younger man, I hated live music. I was like, fuck that shit. I said, if I were a musician, my idea, like the song in my head would be a studio version because I could control every aspect of it. But you forget about the live, because like the fuck ups are something that you can look and be like, oh, that was an interesting thing that he did. Or like, what if he starts to just do a solo or they all jam or whatever? So I've totally come around on live music. And so I've been trying to push it as much as possible. We've had a couple of punk singers on. We have not had any hip hop artists yet. So you could maybe be our first. Like, that would be sick as shit. Like, just to have like a live ass concert. I got lights. I'm a photographer. I could put up some gels and shit.
All the things.
People wouldn't even know that it was. Yeah, people wouldn't even know it was put together by someone who has no idea what the fuck they are doing.
Dude, obviously, you fucking know what you're doing, dude. Yeah, man. Let's fucking chop this up. Let's absolutely get this going, dude. I would love to be able to do that. I love honestly, like it's you kind of when I was at the Arizona Hip Hop Festival, I'm not gonna lie to you, dude. When they told me I was going on, because I was supposed to go on at 6:20, and the dude hit me up at 5:30, I was like, okay, I got enough time. Like, I'm gonna go get a drink real quick, like a fucking vodka Red Bull, just kind of get these nerves down. Fucking got the drink. As soon as I ordered it, they're like, hey man, you ready to go on? I was like, shit. Well, I guess so.
Chug my drink.
Yeah, let's do this. So I like walked up there with like my water bottle and like a fucking vodka Red Bull. I was like, let's just set this down and do this now. But yeah, it was. I mean, it's a lot of fun. Like when you're actually up there and you're doing it, it's. I kind of felt like I was able to just kind of come alive a little bit more. And when I was jumping on the stage was a little small. So when I like started hopping around and fucking jumping and really getting into it, I was like, fuck, I don't want to like jump off the fucking stage right now and like.
Yeah, it's easy to get carried away. That's one of the things. Yeah. Like I was in a band a million years ago. I was in a few bands, and we played some strange gigs. And it doesn't really matter how strange the gig is or how small the crowd. You still want to fucking put everything into it.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, that's how you know you're feeling it. Like when you're really getting into it, because you don't want to be performing and kind of like be second guessing yourself the entire time, because like you're not going to be into it, and that's going to relay like to other people are going to see you, and they're going to like honestly like they're gonna fucking see that.
Yeah,
you
they're
know,
gonna say this guy doesn't know what the fuck he's doing.
Daryl
why
says,
is that
"Let's
guy
do
just
it."
walking back and forth? Oh
Yeah,
yeah, she
I-
wants to. She wants to perform.
Yeah, here's the thing. Like I've got backdrops and shit. I mean,
Sign Music says that sounds awesome. Not gonna lie.
schedule permitting, obviously, I with the holidays, let's ideally we'll push this into the new year.
Fuck yes,
But yeah, that would be totally sick. Like, it's something that you're a filmmaker. You went to filmmaking school, so you can get this aspect where like. I have all these cameras and I would love to shoot something, but I have no subject. So usually I'm in front of the camera and it's shit fucking locked down on a tripod. And so
that's how I feel all of the time.
Right. Like it's hard being, because you want to be in the thing because you know how the character or the person in front of the lens should be acting. And you also want to be behind the lens because you want to have that fucking shot frame the way you see it in your head. And you can't have both. So what do? What do you sacrifice?
Yeah, you don't have your wife do it because I am terrible at it.
Yeah.
That's not true. Honestly, I have my lady help me do a lot of shit. So.
Well, yeah, no, I'm talking about me. I'm terrible at modeling and figuring out cameras. So
yeah, the very very uncomfortable in front of the lens and technically
I'm good in the typing square.
Flawed. Yeah,
That's it.
she can handle the typing square. Like
I don't even
know
how to take pictures. I'm like, fuck, I don't know what to do. Someone's pointing a camera at me. I'm like, shit.
Yeah,
that's why at first, like, I used to cover my face. Like, I show my face now because I feel like when you're in music, that's kind of what you got to do. Like, some point, you got to show people who you are. Like, get out there. That's how you like almost market yourself. But at first, like, what I was doing, it's almost to keep it in the horror aspect. And I'm sure you might like this or think it's really weird. Either way, I thought it was weird, and I was like, that's fucking dope, though. I was taking pictures with a fucking plastic bag over my head. With a black plastic bag over my head. And my lady was like, why do you want to do that? And I was like, oh, because it's fucking weird. Because people are going to think that, and that's what catches like your attention at first.
Right.
And I don't know, like it's,
Well, because here's what you're doing. You're, as if you obviously, if you're a photographer, if you're cinematography, very close to photography. So you're obviously looking to tell a story. If you feel like your face is not a compelling story, a bag over someone's head is a much more compelling story than just a guy standing there. Like I shoot street photography, and when I shoot things, it's weird stuff. It's outstanding stuff. It's not a guy standing there looking at his phone. I don't give a fuck about that. I want the weird
why is
thing.
That dude trying to strangle himself with a plastic
So if you're,
bag?
That's an interesting through line. Like, that's something that you can bring home. Like, tons of artists have done stuff like that. Like Marshmello, if you like electronic, if you like guitars, you got Buckethead. There are a million different artists out there. Like all of the Gorillas, essentially, because they're all cartoons.
That shit was fucking dope. Like that was actually really cool. Like you were able to fucking, I don't know, like that's really cool. Like you had this money where you're like, I'm a fucking cartoon myself, and everything we do concert wise, we're going to be behind a screen. It's all going to be cartoon. Like, that shit was actually really, really cool for the Gorillas to do. Cause that shit was original,
It was a virtual concert performed IRL. You were watching a cartoon of a person performing somewhere else.
They were OG virtual.
Like, that was straight up like if you were to like, oh man, this would be like if you were watching it in virtual reality, you'd be like, oh, this would be so great if I were actually in a concert hall next to a dude who reeks like BO.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I would love to do.
Yeah, we gotta figure
something like that.
We're gonna next thing, round 3, live concert.
Music is like one of those things that's always there. It's never because like I feel like personally I go in and out of falling in love with movies and TV shows and all that stuff, but you never turn down music.
No, and there's always go-to
if you're bummed
you.
or if you're happy, if you're going to the gym, everybody's got a playlist. Nobody's like, I'm going to go to the gym and put on Goodfellas on my phone. No, nobody does that. Or if they do, if they do, they're weird. music.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch this movie real quick and just fucking do this. Like, if you go to the gym, they'll have fucking TVs and they'll have it turned down.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, what the fuck? I want to hear what the fuck that person's saying, though. I don't want to read this shit.
Yeah, those are all weird.
Hipsy Gypsy says mystery is intriguing. However, vulnerability is relatable and usually sustainable 100%. So good move with removing the bag, Yattering.
Yeah, it all depends on your persona.
I appreciate you, Sarah. Thank you.
Yeah, vulnerability is it's a fine line, however, because you want to show that you are a vulnerable human being and not you're like, oh, look at me, I'm a victim and I'm a pain in your ass.
Yeah, you want like restraint.
Woof. That's
that's why you want to be relatable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why you want to be like. That's why you want to be relatable. Like if you know if you can, and I mean that's why like a lot of my music, like I'll have horror, like infuse horror in it. Try to do reference like pop culture and stuff like that. Things that I love, but I always like try to talk about myself and what I feel like I'm going through, because it's just like more relatable. Like if someone's able to listen to that and shit, you know. But that's what I feel like music is for, like, or any type of art, like, because music is art, you know, drawing. If you draw, that's art. If you vlog, like that can be art. And the thing is express yourself, because you're able to express yourself through art. And the thing is that's how I feel like that's how you're able to find yourself. That's how you're able to find like what you want to be able to do.
And not only that, but like you can work through your demons. Like some of my most, well-received stories, written pieces have been based on a real life event that I switched this horrible thing that happened. I make that concept into a bunch of weird little monsters that do metaphorically the things to this town that this event did to my brain. And even if no one sees the allegory, the passion is behind it. And that's the thing. If you have, like you and I have passion for our art, even if no one takes a second to look beyond and be like, oh, I get it, this is all a metaphor for such and such, or like this means, this is a reference to when they did this, you can look past all that, because since the intent and the purpose and the value is placed by the person making it, it's like you can look deeper or not. It doesn't fucking matter, because it's going to be solid.
Right.
Yeah.
And this this is all a big caveat, because like we touched upon earlier, you can be an artist. Anyone can call themselves an artist. Don't think you're a good artist. Never think you're good. Maybe that's the thing. No one should ever think they're good. I don't think any artist should be like, better than that guy. Everyone should be like, yeah, we're all just working here together.
Mm-hmm.
The only time I feel like I've done like a good job is like, obviously I don't look for other people's improvement, but when you make something, you're always like, I'm like my worst critic, you know.
For sure.
Every time I make something, I listen to, I'm like, fuck, maybe that could have been better, or maybe it could have been like this. And then when you're able to get that like kind of feedback, you'd be like, oh shit, this is really good. It's like, hell yeah, like, or you show it to someone maybe that, like, that's why I like showing music, some of my music, to people that I haven't listened to it before. Anyone that I'm talking to, if I show them a song or something, they're like, oh shit, this is you, like, this is actually really good. It's like, it's like, hell yeah, hell damn right, this is actually good.
Okay, so
you're damn right.
This is an interesting concept. So I find that the more I put into a project, like, for example, here's one that I did, it was like a year ago, but I got these two little figures. Speaking of horror, I got these two little figures, one of Jason and one of Freddy. And I spent 3 weeks building this miniature forest campsite, Crystal Lake sort of scene, getting a miniature fog machine. And weeks, literally, my front room was inaccessible because I had lights and
like we drove to Payson to
backdrops.
Get original pine needles.
I hand collected pine cones and pine needles from up north. You
were in it.
Yeah.
That's work though, dude. Like you have to, like, for what you love, dude, like you have to be able to do it. Like, so like when I'm at my, like, obviously I got a day job, right? And when I'm at my day job, like, I work, like I put in good work ethic and stuff like that, and but when I'm fucking like making a song, or like when I'm fucking behind a camera, like doing like a project, I'm like, hey, like it's gotta be like, that's my zone, like you really in it. And I fucking respect you guys driving out to Payson to be able to get those ideas, because a lot of people don't do that. But the thing is, like, if you fucking like what you do and if you have the passion for it, then you fucking will go do it.
Right. But here, the button on that story is all of that time and energy spent. There was hours I was sitting at my kitchen table cutting up pine needles into size appropriate ones to fit the scene for these two little figures. And when I was done, I was like, oh man, this is fucking, like, I will never take a better photo than one of these. And I put it up and I just waited for the accolades and no one gave a single fuck. So that's why art has to be important to you. If when you're done with it, you are happy with it, and I was, do not then take it and show it to someone hoping they will see everything that you see, because they have no idea how much time you put into this.
Right.
Yeah, you just have to. That's what it goes into too. Is like how much respect do you have for yourself? You know, like you have to be able to respect yourself to be able to respect your art and like what you do. And
I'm sure it's,
and the fact that you did that, like, fuck yeah, you should be proud of that. Oh fuck yeah, dude. So we me and Rain me and Daryl, but her handle is Rain. We went up to fucking Flagstaff, stayed with my mom and stuff like that, and it was snowing. And I wanted to go up there at the time because it was snowing, and I was like, because we made the song called Dreamy 88 together.
Yeah.
And I was like, when I thought of like a music video for it, I always kind of like pictured it like just being in the snow. I was like, if I could incorporate the snow, like that'd be sick. So my mom was in Flagstaff and it was snowing, and I was like, well, shit, I'm going to go fucking stay with you and go film this music video. So I had my like sister go and help me. And like, we were in the snow, shit's cold, freezing. Like we did it like 3 days. We were like filming this music video for 3 days, dude, like out in the snow, like finding even different locations, like going and driving off and just trying to find like secluded areas where we could like, film.
Yeah.
And
that's awesome.
I was editing it and my Mac crashed and I lost a lot of the footage.
Yeah.
And it's just like sucks because you put in the time and effort to be able to do something, and it's like, but the thing is, I have like a little small clip of me rapping with the beat and stuff like that, and that like I'm still like, I look at that small clip and I'm like, damn, like it makes me sad that I lost all the footage, but I'm still so proud that we did that we went and we accomplished that, because thing is like we filmed on two phones, on an iPhone and on my fucking Android phone.
That's
and
crazy.
All of the footage actually came out like really good. And all the locations we were able to find was really good. And the thing is like I know I'm not, I'm like, we did that, I'm able to go do that again if I need to.
Yeah.
And so
like,
there's
you learn.
Yeah, so this year there's going to be more. Oh yeah.
Even if that you do, like even with this show, I've got. Let's run down all the hobbies for this show. I've got tons of episodes I've never edited and or produced and or released because I'm like, nope, not good enough. But I'm holding on to them just because I like wasting space on my hard drive. I take hundreds of photos a week and post a fraction of a percent because I'm like, who gives a fuck about what I'm doing? But that's what every artist does, I feel. But even if you don't show it or you lose it or whatever it is that you're working on is obliterated, you can still take that experience and move on to the next thing. Even if like I go out and a shoot is fucking a disaster or a live show a disaster, you still learn from it. And you can say, next time I'm going to make sure this thing doesn't fuck up, or next time I'll use this again.
Hopefully you learn from it. That's the thing though. So the thing is like you need to realize that if you fuck up, like you want to learn from it, right? But the thing, a lot of people, like if they fuck up or if something doesn't go the way that they thought it was gonna go, they'll give up or they'll just beat themselves down too much. Yeah. And the thing is, I know that because I've done that. There's been times where I've had opportunities where I've done something that's like, fuck, I could have learned this and I should have learned this from that. And it's kind of like you learn something after the fact, that other than trying to actually take away from it, and that's what you want to try to do. Anything that you do in life, anyone does in life, even if you feel like you failed, there's a reason why you failed. And you want to find out what that reason is so that you can do better. You pick yourself up. Like I expect to fail all of the time. Like I don't, I'm like making music. I've been making music for a year, and I'm like doing shows, and this is my second interview with you. We're doing it live, but I'm not expecting like fucking record label to like pick me up or me to go big like tomorrow or in the next couple of months or even like in the middle of next year. I'm not expecting that because the thing is I'm expecting to fail over and over and over again until I'm able to do better. And that's because I want to be able to do that because that's how you learn.
And that's the thing. If you don't fuck up, then you've never tried anything.
Oh yeah, you gotta be. The thing is too, like that's why I like this. I try to keep this. You can't be afraid. You can't be afraid. You got to try to not be afraid with the things that you do or trying to go out there and reach out there. You just can't be afraid.
Yeah,
like I'm not very. I feel like I'm able to talk with people. Like I got the gifts of gab. I'm able to just fucking talk shit and bullshit if I need to, and I'm able to talk my way out of situations if I need to. But the thing is, a lot of time I wasn't really outspoken or outgoing. I was really really shy when I was a kid. Girls would talk to me, I'd get like nervous and stuff like that. But the thing is like you just gotta. The only way to be able to get through that is to try to like actually get yourself out there.
Yeah, and it's a rough experience because if you are not used to it, like if you are the type of person who says, "Oh, shit, that didn't work out," you have to take every attempt and not see it as a complete shutdown. But hearing the word no, even though it is only two letters, a single syllable, it will fuck up your entire day. It's rough. I understand. So you have to walk that line, and everybody is traveling through this life all together, and we're all trying to turn out as best humans as we can. And, we have to balance the fear of like rejection and loss and destruction with, growth and creativity. And if you don't have one, you're not going to have the other. Mm-hmm. That's why I will never, ever, if someone is like, "Oh, you got to listen to this 14-year-old, they sing the blues so good," I say, I don't give a single fuck because they are 14 and have not led a life that can connect them to the blues.
To connect them to the blues.
If you are 14, when I was 14, I thought I knew sadness. And then when I got older, I realized I knew what sadness was. And then the blues clicked. So there are some things that you just need a backstory in, you need history in. But then there are those irritating assholes who waltz right in and are fucking flawless at it, and you hate them.
Yeah, they just come in, they're fucking gifted and talented, and you're like, fuck you. Dude, I know some like, oh man, there's this fucking 13-year-old rapper, fucking Landon Fire, dude, that made a song with Tech 9. This dude's so fucking good. This kid's too good. Yeah, he's really good at rapping, dude. I like listen to his shit. I'm like, dude, fuck you, kid.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Like, there's some people that are like really, really talented, but I get that. Like, you need to be able to grow to really. Like, because fucking life happens. Like, the more you get older, like, there's shit that fucking happens. Like, you can't go through everything when you're 14 years old. Like, there's fucking no way. Right. Maybe you've been through hardships and you've seen hardships, but the thing is like when you become older, a lot of these hardships become like your own. Like, dude, like there's a lot of things like I can't fucking fall back on my parents to help me get out of. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of shit I'm a fucking parent myself now. Like, I got a kid that's got to rely on me and shit now. I'm like, fuck.
It's crazy because you and me both know, I feel that being a human is the most complicated fucking thing ever devised by any natural order.
Well, yeah, it can be. And the thing is too, is because people are fucking complicated. It's like your life is complicated because the fucking shit around you is complicated. Fucking relationships that you have with people can be complicated.
Yeah, it's weird.
Like, yeah.
Okay, look at it like this. So you and I, we've had a couple of interactions off air, a couple of interactions on air. We've gone back and forth. Like, I feel like we have a camaraderie. However, like your and my depth and pool of knowledge and experience is so deep that we know practically nothing about each other. Like I could be a complete mental patient and am, and you could be something also equally bizarre.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
But
we met like in person at one time.
Yeah, but that's literally everybody. Is like everybody has their entire life behind them, informing everything they're doing now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
And it's so crazy to me that we just like define ourselves to just be like, oh, I'm this guy. Meanwhile, okay, like take you for instance. You can say, oh, I'm a hip hop artist. You can define yourself as a single tag. You say, I'm a hip hop artist. However, you're also a father and a horror fan and a movie buff, I imagine, and a million other things. And
oh yeah, I like to dub myself as a writer first, though.
Really?
I'm not a rapper. I'm not a rapper. I'm a writer.
So let me ask you this: do you have like prose somewhere? Like, do you have a collection of fiction? I imagine.
Oh yeah. I've written stories since ever since I was a kid. So what got me actually like into music was writing. Like that's my whole background. You mentioned it. I went to film school. For anyone that doesn't know, I went to film school for years down here in Scottsdale Community College because that was one of the biggest like film schools. Like it's like number 8, I believe, like actually in the nation.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, their fucking film school is amazing. And the reason why it's so cool too is because they don't have you fucking read a book for hours about making a film. They actually like I took I forgot what the actual name of the class was, but the whole class was because our Scottsdale Community College, they had a station, right? A TV station that people could like watch and shit like that. And we were actually in charge of like running that station.
Wow.
So we different jobs. Like I was behind the camera, I was a floor director, I was the director in the back room, I was a guy that was running the videos. Like when you're actually watching news and they're like cutting the different cameras, I was that guy. So
that's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, so that shit's awesome because you're able to get hands-on experience, and I feel like that's how you actually learn. So that for me, that was really great to be able to do that. So that's kind of like why I'm a big stickler about if I make any type of music video, I definitely want to be incorporated that. Like if I pay someone else to do like the filmography, obviously I want to be part of the director. Yeah, yes. Obviously. Just because like that's what I want to be able to do, and there's a lot of shots and ways that I picture things that I feel like I want to that I got to just be able to help get down.
That's the mark of an artist. Like there are a million corners I could cut with this show. I could outsource editing. I could outsource a bunch of stuff, but I'm not that type of person. I need to have the end final cut creative decision because the things that I personally think should be in the episode or be cut out are not going to be what someone who doesn't have my passion is going to leave or cut out.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's why, my favorite director is Quentin Tarantino, and that's what he does. I mean, he has a filmographer and he has, his whole fucking crew, but he's behind the actual camera that's filming at the time.
Yeah.
That camera that's getting that shot, he's behind that camera because he wants to have control of that shot because that's his scene, that he wrote that scene. That's his dream, that's his vision. And that's okay to be able to do that, because sometimes when when I was in class one time, I was writing this script. I was writing a spaghetti western about this fucking samurai who comes to America because he's been traveling around the world killing all of the best killers, right? Okay. And the whole idea is that he's trying to purge the world of evil, but he's going around and killing like all of the top killers, serial killers, wrestlers, whatever. So he comes to America during like the Civil Wars because there's this fucking gunslinger, and the gunslinger is like supposed to be the best in the West with a gun. And so I was writing the script and I had this whole idea, and like I had this idea, like the plot, and the fucking one of the teachers like reading it, and he's like, "Oh, dude, this is like really good," but he's like, it'd be better if it was like this, and this, and he started like trying to tell me what to do, and I was like, man, like that would be good, but that's not the fucking story. Like that's cool though, but that's not the fucking story, dude. Like go fucking get your own fucking story and like go write that. Like, but that's not what this is. Like
I get, I get
like
that.
Get the fuck out of here. But yeah, I don't you know.
Yeah, I get that. There are some stories that, you know, I think if you've ever written anything, you have at least one thing where you're like, this is the way I want it. And if you have any critiques, fuck you. I've got a couple of things like that. And should I listen to criticism? Probably. Will I? Fuck no. Because sometimes that's the point of art. Sometimes the point of art is to create something that scratches an itch for yourself.
Oh, I want feedback from artists I respect, like Psy Music, who's on here.
Right, I get that, yeah.
On here. Like all those guys, like when they give me feedback on a song, like I fucking love that shit because those are guys I respect. Like I like their fucking music, and I asked for their feedback because I like their music, and that's, you know, I listen to that shit. So I'm able to get feedback from artists that I respect and I like. That's, to me, that's a win for me. Because these guys are fucking awesome and I like them. And
that's kind of like,
and they're giving and they're listening to me. That's straight love right there. Like that's family and that's respect. You know, and
it's a little bit, yeah. But that's the thing, when the communities come together, like they share sounds. Like this is how everything broke apart. Like blues, jazz, rock. Like these were communities of people sharing experiences and sharing techniques and talents and whatnot. And without the collaboration, there wouldn't be what we have.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, dude, think of the fucking song "Under Pressure." Like that was Queen and David Bowie. Yeah. Like what an amazing fucking collaboration. Like even to this day, like David Bowie's dead. Like, and so is, you know, Freddie Mercury. Like, but man, god damn, like was that a fucking beautiful collaboration when you're able to see things like that. Like that's why I like collabing. And anyone who asks me if I want to be able to collaborate, well, obviously, I'm going to listen to their music before I say yes, but I always fucking keep an open mind because I'm not going to turn anyone down. I'm not going to say no because, like, I don't know. They, you know,
be a tourist of genres.
Fuck yeah.
Take your time. Go around. Like, I have done things on this show or for this show that I probably wouldn't have done necessarily if I were given my choice, but, you know, why turn down an experience offered to you? Because if you turn it down, you get nothing. If you do it, even if you get annoyed, you still got something out of it.
Yeah, this is how you can't pass up opportunity. Like this is what I was told by my dad.
For sure.
And this was some good ass fucking advice. Sometimes my dad's spitting out some wisdom. Now you just can't like pass up fucking opportunity. Like when you have opportunity, even if it's going to cost you money or something, you have to take that opportunity because you have no idea. Like when I went and performed at Arizona Hip Hop Festival, I'm not going to lie. Like I paid to do that. I paid money out of my pocket to go do that. But I was and I do it again. Because I was able to meet so many people and grow. I only had, to me, I don't have a lot of followers. I only have like 200 and something, but at the time I only had like 230 something followers. And now I have like 270. I was able to get so many followers from that night, just from people I met and a lot of people that were, you know, respected me. Like that dude that I met, like that I was talking about, KP, that fucking awesome. He followed me even before the show and was like, started promoting my stuff. And I didn't even ask him to do that. I was like, wow, like shit like that blows me away that when people do that.
Right. But that's
for me or for anyone else. Like like that. Hopefully that's part of it, you know, like hopefully there's these people that are trying to raise each other, you know, because that's what you want. You want to help. You want to try to, if you can, like if you fucking respect someone, then show them that you respect them and then show other people that you respect them. Like all the shit that we're doing, I blow that up all the time. And then anyone else, like after I've been telling all of the artists that I've met, I've been telling about you and hopefully people have been trying to fucking hit you up. If not, they're fucking dumb. They should be trying to hit you up and get like a fucking, trying to see how they can fucking get this going with you. Because this right now, it's
funny because I texted David today and I was like, man, I just saw that, you know, Yattering blew up his Instagram like to promote the show, and he's like, yeah, he does that all the time, which is awesome because, you know, that's like just respecting everybody's art. And
but think of it like this, whatever money you spent going to the hip hop fest or whatever, it doesn't matter. Like you say, oh well, that was a waste. It wasn't.
Oh no, that was not a waste at all. I do it
value.
again.
Yeah,
I do. Yeah,
the
fuck yeah, I do
value
that
is
again.
in relationships. Like, how do you, without that ticket to entry for the hip hop festival, you cannot put a price on relationships. You cannot put a price on friendships forged. You cannot put a price on connections made.
Yeah,
Like,
you can't put a price on growth. You just
yeah,
can't
if
put a
you
price
say,
on growth.
well, I can spend $70 and go and have this experience and learn and perform and blah blah blah, or whatever the ticket entry price may be, and you say, I'll keep it. But what are you losing? Like, sure, you can't put a price on meeting someone important, but is it worth the fucking ticket price? Probably.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like,
That's what you have to ask yourself. Like, what's important to you? Like, what's important to you? Like, what the fuck? Like, everyone works to pay bills. Everyone works to pay bills, of course. Like, if you got a fucking house and you're fucking working, of course you fucking work to pay bills. But if you're not working to be able to advance yourself in somewhat in what you love, then what the fuck? Like, you had all the shit that you have to set up to be able to do the live show that we're talking about. That costs your own personal money. That you bought that stuff. That's an investment that you put into, but you didn't put that investment into nothing. You put that investment into yourself.
Yeah,
and like all the stuff that I have here talking with you, like my mic setup, my fucking everything that I have, like this shit's an investment that I put into myself. And that's how you have to think about things. It's not wasting your money. It's, are you willing to put an investment into your future self?
Right.
But
And
you've
made so many friends.
And it can't be just like money. You can't say, oh, I need to invest in myself. So like, if I, with zero drive, had all this equipment, all these mics and these cameras and lights and mixing boards and headphones and yada yada, computers and yada yada yada. If I had it but had no drive, well, who gives a shit? Like, I spent money on myself thinking I would do it. Like, you have to knuckle down, even if you don't have shit. Like, one of my favorite content producers on YouTube uses a phone and the free set of earbuds he got with the phone. So if your message is strong and your content is good, people will give you latitudes on the execution.
Mm-hmm.
I am a stickler, so I try to keep it as high quality as possible. So the content suffers, obviously.
Daryl says support and love for one another will get anyone farther than just being lost in their own tunnel forward.
That's true. Yeah. Like, because you always,
some pretty good words right there.
yeah. If you know someone and they're doing well, do you think like, fuck you? No, you're like happy for them, because if they're, you don't know what's going to be popular. It's impossible to tell what will take off and what won't. And holding success or failure against or toward anybody, I feel like, is a whatever. If I can ask you this question, do you like what you do, and would you do it regardless of the cost? If the answers are yes, then fine, great, I love it.
Yeah, hell yeah. And I mean, that's there's I mean, I got hit up by this producer that I worked with, like when I started making music. This producer named Dimebaggy in the UK fucking hit me up, and he was like, hey man, I like your sound. And I started getting a lot of his beats. A lot of the songs I made actually are his beats, because I really like his style and the way that he does things, and he's really musically gifted. But he hit me up, and because he saw that I did the interview with you, saw that I was on Icon Radio, saw that I performed. And he hit me up and he's like, dude, you've been really fucking like getting out there, like reaching out there. And a lot of people have been telling me this too, like Psy Music and Lil Cringe.
That's
a lot
good,
of
man.
people have been hitting me up and telling me like, hey dude, like you're really trying to get out there and you're really putting your face out there. And these are people that have more fucking followers than me. They have more clout than me. These guys get more plays in their music than I do. But they're telling me, like Lil Dimebag, he was like, dude, that's stuff that I'm not doing. And he's like that inspires me to want to be able to do more. And I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. Like that makes me want to do more. Like when someone tells me that I just inspired them to be able to want to make more music, or to try to get out there and do the things that I'm doing, and he has more followers than me, like that shit makes me feel good. I was like, fuck yeah, dude. Like I am doing something good. Like that's encouraging right there. And I always that's the thing, like you said, like when you see people that are doing good, like it does kind of like make you feel good. Like when I see someone that's doing good, I'm like, fuck yeah, like if they can do it, I know I can fucking do it, because I have just as much passion as they have. And the thing is, if you're not going to make it without having passion. Everyone who's made it in what they do has at one point in time had passion about it.
For
you
sure.
know, whether they've lost it after they've become rich or whatever it is, they've had passion for it. And the thing is that's what you got to have. You got to just have passion.
And
you know,
I think it's twofold, because you want to not only keep the passion but also stay grounded, because especially like my experiences with this show, with the podcast and all the like the pre-recorded stuff, a lot of the people I get are way beyond what I should be getting. Like, for instance, some of our guests have included like famous voiceover. Like, are you aware of the game Darkest Dungeon?
No.
Okay, so Darkest Dungeon is a Steam game. It's Lovecraftian horror, so you might want to check it out.
That's cool.
So it's super good. The narrator of that game blew up because he became the narrator of that game, Wayne June, who did basically like audiobooks and was a brilliant voiceover artist that I got. And even after he blew up, he was on Darkest Dungeon, which became like the biggest game of whatever, 2018, 2019, whenever it was released. And he went from having 100 followers on Twitter to like 1 billion. I don't know. I can't remember the story. Yeah. But he still took the time after all of that rolled by, and his name was commonplace in the gaming community, especially around role-playing games and Lovecraftian shit, and he was getting blown up all over the place. Still, when I asked him, hey, would you like to come back on the show? He said, fuck yes. Because fame can fuck you up, but if you stay down to earth, like,
dude, that's awesome that you had that guy on the show. Dude.
Yeah, it's so great.
That's awesome. That makes me feel more honored to be on this show. Like the guests that you've had, and the fact that you asked me to come on the show the first time, I was like, no way. He's asking me to be on the radio. Fuck yeah! I know that we had mentioned it a little bit, but I was like, when I saw that you started doing it again, and I started listening to the podcast and saw like the guests that you had on, I was like, man, this guy's getting like some big fucking people on here. So when you asked me, I was like, dude, I was super honored that, because I kind of felt like almost like, I was like, this guy thinks that I'm good enough to be able to be on his show. Like, that's fucking awesome.
Because here's the qualification to be on the show. It's quality. Like, I'm not going to reach out to someone who will get me likes or listens or whatever if I don't like their shit. If I honestly don't give a fuck about your material, I cannot fake it through an interview. I cannot bullshit my way. I'm a terrible actor when it comes to this. If you do something and people like you but I don't personally connect to it, don't give a shit. If you have talent and you have a message and there's something to say, that's the precursor. I don't care. Like, I've gone after people who were crazy famous and got shot down by a lot of people. But
that's happened. That's part of it, though. That's part of it.
My qualification isn't fame. It isn't whether or not you've made 1 million albums or whether or not you're a published author or whatever the fucking thing may be. If I think you have talent and I enjoy your work, I will ask you. I don't give a fuck if you're famous or rich or poor or whatever the fuck.
It's whatever connects, and
it's good.
And if the person has heart.
It's like quality.
Yeah.
So when Yattering, he was like, oh, by the way, I got music, and I heard it, and I was like, oh, whoa, that's good. I was like, obviously, like it was just a matter of consequence. Because don't get me wrong, I am in contact with a lot of people who do a lot of things who I would never have on this show. Because I don't like it and it's not good.
Yeah. Hey, and that's all right. You're being honest, man. You got it when on your show, dude. You're fucking in control of what the content you have on your show, and that's the thing. That you want to have a certain type of content that you want to be able to listen to, and that's what you like. Like, I wouldn't make a song that I fucking wouldn't want to listen to or like. Sure. Like,
well, then you
there's not a song that I've made where I'm like, I can't bump it in my car and be like, fuck yeah, like I like this song, like I wouldn't make a song to make, like you said, like make it for someone else. Like, I wouldn't fucking do that, because the thing is that's not art.
But then people that respect you can then tell that it's not something that you would do.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you don't enjoy making it, I probably won't enjoy listening to it or experiencing it, unless it was made by someone insanely talented like Rihanna's Diamonds. or whatever.
Bringing
pop
it
song.
back around.
That one song, that one great song.
I can't think of any other guilty pleasure. Oh no, here my
Steel
other.
Panther is
I've
my
got
guilty pleasure.
I've got two guilty pleasures. The second one, the one I'm most afraid of sharing, but do often, and is the number one. Rihanna's Diamonds is a distant second to this. But Cher's 1999, depending on the version, cut Believe. I fucking love that song.
It's true.
That's fucking funny, dude. Some songs are fucking good, like Dreams by Fleetwood Mac. Like that fucking song, was fucking, dude. That shit was great. I remember I went up to Payson with my fucking dad, and we were out we smoked this joint. We were fucking high. And
you don't know how music's gonna hit you, man.
Dude, he was out. We were outside this like the hotel, like in Payson. It's a super fucking small town, obviously.
Oh yeah. I've been
super fucking small, and we're outside this fucking small ass like fucking hotel, and he just goes up to his car like after we smoke, and he just like starts blasting the song like full blast, like Dreams by Fleetwood Mac, and I was just like, dude, like everything good? And he was like, oh, dude, I just really wanted to listen to this song right now, and like. I was like, this is this grown man just fucking listening to Fleetwood Mac. But the thing is, like, that's a good song. Like, you have your guilty pleasures. Like, that's a great song. Like, was someone gonna come up to him and be like, "Well, you a puss"?
Music can do that, man. Like, music can yield some very strange experiences. So, like that. Okay, I'll trade you a weird story. When I was young, I had a cousin who was older, and I would often spend the night over at his house, and he had friends that were in high school, and I was young, and yada, yada, yada. So I always looked up to them. And one of his neighbor friends had this like huge new stereo system, and I listened to Machine Head by Bush on a waterbed because two kids who were older than me instructed me to do so, and it was fucking weird.
What the fuck? Go sit on this fucking waterbed, listen to this song now.
I laid on...
Just float, dude. Close your eyes.
It was crazy. I was on a waterbed next to my cousin, and we were staring at the ceiling listening to Machine Head on a Sony whatever hi-fi in 1996 or whatever.
Wow.
He's probably older.
Waterbed's so bad.
But I was like, what the fuck? But if that song didn't exist, I wouldn't have had an opportunity to lay on some strange child's, you're closer to an adult than me, but some strange teenager's bed and listen to music while he stood eerily above me and my cousin on the waterbed.
Watching you listen.
Yeah. Arms crossed.
The whole scene just sounds weird. Like the more you say it, I'm like, this is troubling right now. Like this
because there he is standing at the edge of the bed, like arms crossed, doing like the slow knowing nod, like, yes, you are enjoying this song. And I'm like, this is fucking crazy.
That guy was fucked up.
Yeah,
a lot.
Dude, that's so fucking funny. But dude, yeah, you're right. Like music does, like it can really make it. Like it's weird. Like me and Daryl, she's on here, so big shout out to you, girl. I love you. But Daryl, me and her were talking, and she was telling me that sometimes she'll listen to a song, and it'll have like a certain note, like whatever song it is. But there's these notes. I mean, if people hear it, depending on who you are, like it can make you have goosebumps. Because what's happening is that it can actually like neurologically, like it can affect your brain.
Yeah,
it can open up like different. It can affect different receptors in your brain and stuff like that. And that's fucking. So that's amazing.
Let me lay this on you. Back in probably 2000, do you remember the movie? Oh shit! I want to say Battlefield Earth, but that's not right. It's Titan AE.
I do remember that movie, dude. I love that fucking movie. God, dude. Whoa. Not a lot of people know that movie. I was fucking asking Daryl if she knew that movie, and she was like, no, I don't know that movie.
It's a rough movie.
God, dude.
However, one of the best soundtracks of the year 2000. So
that's the animated one, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that fucking movie's awesome.
Here's what I'm going to say. Listen to an artist. She's a girl, and her band or group or whatever is called Splashdown. And the song from that soundtrack is called Karma Slave. And she takes a lot of influence from Indian music. So, they don't, their music is not set on the octave. There's a lot of weird tones in between the 8 notes that American and whatever, yada, yada, yada. So her vocal intonation and patterns have an Indian flavor, like Indian rather. and it's something you wouldn't expect, but it works so well that you're like, how is not everybody doing this? Like, why isn't anyone reaching for those notes and tones that are beyond the structure that we use?
Fuck yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check that out. Absolutely, dude. I'm gonna go fucking watch that movie now.
It's so crazy.
Dude, I'm gonna go watch that movie now. I forgot about that. That's such a good movie.
Soundtrack has been on my car playlist for 20 years now. I've been listening to that soundtrack for 20 years. And I still love it.
That's how you know it's like, yeah, dude, like there's so many musics, like there's so many songs like back in the day that like are just so fucking good, you know, like
the movie's
it's
rough.
So great. Like even fucking movies, like my brother Nick, which it's so fucking crazy and like irritates me. Like we'll talk about old movies or I'll like bring up an old movie. He just doesn't watch fucking old movies, dude. Like if it's like not in the 2000s, like he doesn't really want to watch it because like he's like, dude, like old movies are just bad, dude. Like it's not relatable. Like that's what I'm saying, dude. Some fucking people. And this guy's like my brother. I love you, Nick. If you're listening or if you fucking listen later, but yeah, I don't know, dude, because it's like that's how a lot of where the fuck do you think a lot of these people got their inspiration from? It's from back in the day. It's from older songs. It's from older movies. You know, like that's why I feel like a lot of the movies that are horror, a lot of them are so fucking good. Like I love horror movies with practical effects, like The Thing. Like that's a fucking crazy movie. Like when that shit came out, that movie was scaring the fuck out of people.
Oh, for sure.
No one has seen anything like that.
I've got a friend who's into like Silver Age horror, like so Frankenstein, Dracula, Wolfman, the Mummy, yada yada. Like the universal big. And honestly, you know, I feel like they're so old.
That's like OG stuff.
Tropes are there, but like Frankenstein is a legitimately compelling movie. I think all the characters, despite the fact it was shot in the 30s and 40s, I think that lineage is great.
Yeah. Because I'm not going to lie. I like the one with Robert De Niro, dude.
Oh, really? Mary Shelley's Frankenstein?
Yeah, that one was actually that movie was actually pretty good.
I imagine it was closer to the, I never saw it. I've only seen all the black and white ones. And then, tragically, I saw I, Frankenstein.
I didn't watch that. Dude, there's just, like I said, there's just some movies, like when you watch it, it's like, fuck, like I'm not going to watch that shit. And because like I didn't watch that movie because I watched that, the Lincoln, the Vampire Hunter movie.
God, we can't even talk about that.
I was like, the fuck, dude?
David
like,
stormed out of that theater so fast.
I was the only one who hated that movie when it came out. And I was so pissed that nobody around me was like, why doesn't anyone see this movie sucks?
Yeah, a lot of people thought that movie was good, dude, and that's the thing. A lot of people like, I don't know what the fuck, dude. Like that movie fucking sucked, dude.
Yeah,
and then the fucking like I don't know if you ever saw like Spring Breaker. It's not a horror movie, but there's this movie called Spring Breakers, and that movie was fucking garbage, man. And there's a lot of people that thought that movie was great.
It comes down to relatable characters. Like here's the thing: when an independent artist makes something that is a connection to them, you can tell because all the characters are relatable. When Hollywood sees that it's trendy, picks it up and gives you one-dimensional versions of these thick characters from these independent films and or whatever, like it sucks. Like nobody gets it. They're like, all the people who have all the money think it's like the set dressings that it's making everybody show up. It's the fucking characters, dumbass. The people, the artists, the intention is there. You can't throw $50 million at it. So here, horror connection. I don't know. I think they spent probably $20 million on the 2009 Friday the 13th, when the first one was like literally shot for $14.57.
Yeah. So you're talking about the Michael Bay remake.
Did he remake? He did the remake.
Yeah, I think he produced it. He was like one of the producers on it for sure. Yeah. Like he was like the big name on it, like Michael, because Michael Bay, he was doing a lot of the horror remakes, I believe, at the time, like Amityville Horror.
Okay. So therein lies the point. Like Michael Bay does not know stories. He knows visuals. He can show you something visually stimulating, but like content deficit, like whatever. Even his directing and producing leaves a vacuum of talent and content.
Yeah.
So whatever.
I mean, if you think about like Paranormal Activity, like I'm not gonna lie, like
The
that
original.
movie fucking when that movie came out, that movie scared the fuck out of me, man,
too.
in theaters. Like
'Cause
I
it
was
was
jumping
new.
and
It was
that shit
fresh. It was cheap.
Yeah.
It was genius. Like
It was
for
fucking good. It cost $10,000 to make that movie. Are you
It
serious?
was-
That's cheap as fuck.
the premise was simple enough to buy. The effects were practical enough to be believable. Like it was so great. But Hollywood was like, "Oh shit. What if we did that 9 more fucking times, but each time we upped the budget another 20 million?" And so a movie that started out as 2 people getting freaked out by a sheet moving is now a cast of dozens moving through a portal to hell that's a swirling
seriously.
purple smoking void. And you're like, where did we go wrong?
We'll see. Yeah, and the thing is too is like what's really cool about it is like when the first one came out. So the first one came out, and then like it was so fucking small budget that you had to vote if you wanted it in your fucking like in your city or not, in like in your town. And then it was so good. Like Steven Spielberg watched it, and that's what I fucking like is like when these independent people make this movie, and you see a big fucking studio head like Steven Spielberg watch it, and he fucking contacts these people, and he's like, "Dude, I want to write an alternate ending to your movie." Like that's fucking badass. Like I'm like, fuck yeah.
You know what's kind of like this? So the Paranormal Activity franchise is kind of like the Blair Witch franchise. They both started out as independent, like, you know, we've got a fully fledged idea that's self-contained and we're going to throw it out there. And then every one after that was just like a shittier version of that thing.
Yeah.
And everybody stands around scratching their heads being like, well, we threw money at it. It's completely artistically bankrupt, but we spent $50 million on this motherfucker.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing too, is like, because like, you know, it's like you said, dude, it's not always money that fucking makes something good. Like you could spend fucking $1 million on something. Doesn't mean a movie's going to be fucking good or not. Like there's so many movies that have spent millions of dollars and they fucking banked because it sucks. But yeah, like the Blair, oh my God, you look at movies like the Blair Witch Project, like the first one, like when I first watched that when I was a kid, I was like, how the fuck, like, is this such a big movie?
Well, and it
because
was
it's so easy. It's so easy to film. It's like these people are like, we're gonna go in the fucking woods and we're gonna make this fucking movie, and then now all of a sudden, like, there's a game after it. Like you said, there's all these other remakes about it.
It was a
It's
marketing
a franchise.
bonanza. Like Paranormal Activity and Blair Witch had the same arc. They were small movies made by nobodies on no budgets with nobody actors that used marketing in such a way that it turned $1 into $1 million. Like the Paranormal Activity, like planted a penny and grew $1 million tree. And, you know,
fucking so wild, dude.
It's crazy. And
it makes
at
like,
that
fuck.
point, you say, well, the first one was good, the rest of them sucked, and the creators are now living in solid gold houses with their rocket cars, and the masses got 9 sequels where they eventually got to fly through a VR nightmare full of clouds and monsters. Everybody's happy, I guess.
Everyone's happy, I guess. This is what we paid all our money for.
Woo!
This is what we all...
A brilliantly crafted, curated artistic experience raked over the coals for 9 fucking sequels.
Fuck. What's your favorite horror movie?
Okay. It depends. Because if you want slasher, if you want monster, if you want ghost, I've got multiple.
Hell yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like hard to like almost like have a favorite, like when you really love something. It's like,
That's what I'm
fuck,
saying.
like it's so hard to have a favorite.
When someone asks me what my favorite dinosaur is, I've got no answer. My favorite horror, I've got no answer also. Because slashers, I would say Jason. For sci-fi based horror, I would go The Relic. Have you seen The Relic?
So I have not seen The Relic, but I read the book, and the book is fucking amazing.
Oh,
like I read the book by Douglas, Douglas
You guys
Preston
are
and
best
Lincoln
friends
Child.
now.
Listen to me now, my friend. I have read all 18 in that series. If you want to talk about the Pendergast series of novels,
It's
you
an
read all the
ongoing
Pendergast
series.
series books? Fuck yeah, dude.
one was like the most recent one was released early this year.
That's so sick, dude. Honestly, man, that's sick that you do that. Just because, like, that stuff reminds me of my grandfather. He passed away a couple of years ago, but that's what got me. I love Douglas Preston and Lincoln Child, like the Pendergast series and stuff like that. Like, he got me Relic. But he loved all of those books, man, and he would fucking, the fact that you read them, dude. He'd probably really like you.
I get, like, if you're a horror fan and like if you're a Lovecraft fan, you owe it to yourself to check out the Pendergast series, simply because it does what Lovecraft does, in that it takes the reality that you know and mixes in just enough bullshit and just enough reality that you're like, this could probably be real. Like, there are people alive walking the streets of Earth today who think the Necronomicon is a real book. And technically, they're right.
There's people that think that, like, okay, let's talk about that for a little bit,
please.
now that you brought that up, because I love the whole fucking concept that, like, people can read H.P. Lovecraft and they fucking think that shit is real. Like, so did you know this, that down here in Phoenix, Arizona, there's actually a Cthulhu fucking church, dude? Like a church of Cthulhu down here in Phoenix.
There's sex all over the place. Robert M. Price is a high priest, I think.
Dude, it's fucking so weird, dude. Like, I don't know, because if you read those books, obviously you've read them. I don't know what would make you want to believe in Cthulhu or Azeroth or any of those beings whatsoever, because none of that's good. Like, they're all malevolent alien gods that don't care about us, and they make you insane. Like, read those books, dude. It never works out for fucking anyone.
I think if I had to identify a motive for the cultists in all of Lovecraft mythos, like all the ones who worship the Great Old Ones, Azathoth, Nyarlathotep, Cthulhu, Dagon, whatever deity of choice, I think that they are super woke, and here's why.
When they're super woke.
Yeah.
So saying that right now.
You've obviously read The Call of Cthulhu, right?
Yeah.
For those uninitiated, there is a point in the story where it takes place in Louisiana, where a detective goes into the swamp and finds all these revelers who are nude and praising a statue of Cthulhu that came from Yuggoth or whatever, some basaltic pillar, this little statue. And like, I don't know. I don't know, man. It's the craziest thing.
Dude, it's so weird that people want to believe in stuff like that. Like, I don't know. I want to I kind of want to ask, I want to meet a person who believes in stuff like that. But at the same time, I don't want to.
So
because I read those books, man, and all of those, they're fucking cultists, bro. I don't need them following me and trying to put a fucking shock off in my body or some shit.
Yeah, in real life, if you find someone who legitimately, not ironically, buys into Cthulhu and the Great Old Ones and that pantheon of gods, they're a moron. Fine and dandy. Within the world,
you got to interview a person like that.
I would love to. God, you have any crazy people I asked to be on this show who are like, no, I'm crazy.
No, I'm great. You have to interview me. I'm fucking crazy, dude. But wait, that's not good enough. Like, in crazy in what aspect, bro? I'm crazy.
Yeah, everybody's nuts. But within the world of the fiction, I can totally buy being a cultist, because if you are one of these weirdos squatting in the Louisiana swamp, or if you're Arthur Wilcox, the eccentric artist, if you get proof positive that a force greater than you exists, this isn't like we move in mysterious ways. Like, we've got proof that Cthulhu exists. This isn't like, God will grant the prayers he wants and everybody else can go fuck. Like,
there's fucking proof, dude. Like
a bunch of dudes on a ship saw Cthulhu. If I saw a giant 2 miles tall monster emerge from the ocean, I would be immediately sold. I would be like,
I'd be
obviously,
fucked.
this is the
I'd
team to
shit
go
myself, dude. I'd be like, holy fuck.
Yeah, it's the same concept. Like if in real life any of these things existed, you would know because people would be exploiting them constantly. Here's how I know the devil doesn't exist. I don't have a Ferrari in my in my driveway, and this isn't a fucking mansion. Because how many people would immediately sell their soul for almost nothing?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, a lot of people would definitely try to.
That's how you know. That's how you know the devil
don't
doesn't
believe
work.
in that now because people don't give a fuck now. People don't really care. I don't know. It's so crazy. Like the whole like believing things and stuff like that. Like you can make your own fucking dude. Like think about it, like Scientology. Like that shit's fucking science fiction books.
Yeah.
Like you go into Barnes and Noble and you try to find. I was doing when I was in college, I was taking like a religious studies class because a lot of the classes I like to take were so that I like to take a lot of religious classes or psychological classes, like
because it's interesting.
So I
it
could actually
to human nature.
Yeah, because I wanted to include that in my writing and shit like that. You can't write about things that I didn't learn about, so I wanted to learn about things so I could better write about it.
And religion is full of crazy stories.
So fucking many crazy different stories, dude. Like it's almost history of how the world's made, and a lot of people like they'll read like stories like the Game of Thrones books, and it's like fuck, like that has a crazy ass history. And it's like if you think about like our world history, like there's some crazy ass shit that happened, like the French Revolution, like that shit was wild. There was a leader down there like named Maximilian, and he was guillotining people weekly. They were beheading motherfuckers weekly just to scare people straight in the streets.
Look at the Roman Empire.
Don't steal a loaf of bread. I'm gonna fucking cut your head off.
Yeah, it was insane. Like after the Pax Romana, look at the Roman Empire. It's just like one titanic fuck up after another. And in the midst of all this, we've got people being like, hey, we've got stoicism coming out of all this. We've got all these great philosophers. And meanwhile, the people in charge are basically greasy as fuck and constantly fucking each other over. But, that's life. We need to be fucked over for the philosophers to be like, here's why it's a bad idea.
Yeah, well, that's the thing too. Like, hopefully, we fucking learn from it. Like, a lot of things that are repeated in history because people don't fucking, take the time to learn about history and make sure these things aren't fucking repeated down the line. But that's just,
the most oxymoronic statement I've ever heard is those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it. And as we look back on history and see the same things happening literally every 100 years is the repeat of the last one, just with the characters slightly changed and the name tag slightly swapped, I have to think that we are the fucking dumbest. Like, koala bears realized that if the koalas that came before them did something that didn't work, they should stop. However, humans are like, no, we will do things wrong because that's how we were raised, God damn it. It's red, white, and blue, and these pancakes taste like America. Fuck.
Dude, that's fucking goddamn, dude, red, white, and blue.
It's crazy.
But no, it's funny. It was just reminding me of the scene in this movie. Do you like Kevin Smith?
He's one of those dudes where I'm like, it's more miss than hit.
Okay, well, you should watch Red State. I feel like you might like Red State because that's like his concept of a horror movie, and he breaks a lot of like if you know screenwriting, if you know movies, like because obviously movies have like a certain way that they should go, right? There's like a climax and arc and shit like that. He breaks fucking all of the tropes of screenwriting that there is, and it's fucking awesome. But yeah, if you like horror movies, you should definitely check out the Red State. That one's pretty good because a lot of it has like a lot of beliefs and like zealots, like all these people like believing in religion and stuff like that, and the depths that people kind of go to believe in things. Because the thing is like if you think about it, there's radicalism in all different types of things. Like there's radical Christianity, feminism. A lot of people take their beliefs just a little bit too far, and it gets a little too violent.
But here's my problem: is like this story has been told a zillion times, and everybody who tells it says we should learn from the past and we should move forward. Because I can't tell you, like sci-fi and horror are full of cautionary tales about the future. And it's always the same message. It's like, here's this famous person, this historical figure. They were undone by greed and avarice and corruption. And it's, cookie cutter, same fucking thing every fucking time. But we're like, all of us plebs who have no power say, well, if we don't learn from the past, blah, 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 blah. But here's the thing. The past means dick when someone's waving a big stack of money under your fucking nose. Like, Rob Zombie had integrity for his Halloween reboot until he had a bunch of fucking money waved under his nose. So
I'm not gonna lie. So like, it wasn't just so for me personally. Okay, like with as far as Rob Zombie goes, like dude, House of a Thousand Corpses, fucking great. Devil's Rejects, fucking great. And like, if you look at those two movies, they were like, and if you look at it too, like, it's almost like they're obviously House of a Thousand Corpses is the fucking first one, and then the Devil's Rejects is a sequel, right? But if you watch those movies back to back, or even if you don't watch them back to back, they have almost like a different style to it. Like House of a Thousand Corpses is horror, Halloween, and then if you take it to like fucking the Devil's Rejects, it has like horror in there, but a lot of that's almost like fucking like heisty,
right,
it's very fucking like almost like not like action, but it has a different type of quality to it. I feel like, and a different style to it, and it's really I fucking like it. And but then you get into the Halloween, and then the second one, and the second one really fucking sucked. And then did you watch Lords of Salem?
I did not watch Lords of Salem. No,
that movie fucking sucked, dude. Well, like that movie fucking was horrible, and this is the reason why too. This is what my buddy told me.
I heard it was divisive.
Damn it, I coughed. I'm not dying, I swear. But but the Lords of Salem, fucking Rob Zombie filmed that movie, and he didn't even have like a script. He had a blueprint, and they just took a bunch of different locations and just kind of filmed like on the spot, like on the fly. And that movie is just so fucking bad, dude. There's like a part when like Sharon, like his wife, Sharon Moon Zombie, fucking dude, she fucking meets the devil, and the devil's like this little baby with a tentacle dick. And it's like, what the fuck is that? Like, why?
Yeah, so that's the thing. So Rob Zombie is maybe a perfect example where like he did his first movies. He did, Devil's Rejects, House of a Thousand Corpses, the first Halloween, and he was like, basically, I'm done with whatever's going on. And that's the thing. No matter how much money or influence or whatever your tactic is, if you go to an artist who made something grand and you ask them to replicate it based on something else, you're not going to get that, because the first thing was crafted from something that they were. It was a part of them. And you can't say, hey, reproduce that part of yourself, but fabricate it and make another piece of it.
Oh, yeah.
That doesn't happen. And that's why when even if it's crazy, I will watch an auteur or an artiste's thing because it's their vision. It's not a vision of a bunch of people. It's their vision as they saw it, and that's how everything should be seen. I don't think that everything should have the edges sanded off and be made palatable for everybody. Some people need to be uncomfortable. You need to see weird shit to question your own beliefs, your own whatever. Like if you're never stressed or pushed in any way, you're the most boring motherfucker on the planet, and no one's going to invite you to their parties.
Yeah. I mean, you just got to be fucking edgy, like you said. Like you got to just do things that are weird. Like do things that are fucking weird and incorporate that if you can, because that shit, like people do like that. Like people do like kind of like weird stuff. Like I like weird shit. Like because people just like that. It's refreshing. Not a lot of people get stuff like that.
Not only that, but it's compelling. Weird offers you a mystery. People love mysteries. I don't care what it is. If someone shows you something weird, like perfect example, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie, or not movie. It's a TV show that used to be on the Discovery Channel. It's called Oddities, based around an antique and weird shop called Obscura in New York. Mm-hmm. And it's basically a bunch of people buying a bunch of weird shit. And the reason you buy it is because it's weird. You look at it and you see it has a story because it's fucked up in some way. You say, this is a two-headed pig preserved in formaldehyde that has a tag on it that says 1947. That's got some history. It's fucking weird. There's a story there.
Oh yeah, dude. I
It's
mean,
not a
honest to be
toaster.
honest, like weird usually tends to impress.
Yeah.
And that's where you want to go. Like you want to impress people, you want to catch people quick. And honestly, that the weirdness kind of goes for it. I mean, I got my shirt, like my merch on the back of it. I got it's very simple. I got my logo on the front, the Y and the A, and then on the back, it's a fucking stick figure throwing up.
Yeah.
It's like that. It's like, and that shit catches people's eye. Like this one guy at my work, he came. I was like walking around. He was like, "Dude," so he's like, "I just gotta ask you, man." He's like, "I keep seeing you wear it." He's like, "What's going on with the shirt? Like the stick figure throwing up and shit." And it's like that catches people's attention. It's like that's what I want. It's like boom, like, hey man, I make music. Like fucking check it out and stuff like that. This is my shirt. So
there's two ways you can get eyes: repetition, or breaking the mold. Like Coke and Pepsi. They'll play a commercial once a minute, every minute of the fucking day, because they got the money to do that, so they don't have to stand out. They've got the money to push it in your face 24/7.
Like, fuck yeah.
Who else has a stick figure throwing up? Not a lot of people, I would wager.
Hey, no one got any of that shit.
Like, take this show's logo. You're looking at it right now. This one right here. This flamingo wearing sunglasses and a mustache on a vaporwave sun.
That's all I was just looking at right now. I was like, I like how this fucking flamingo's got the mustache on there, dude. He's fucking chilling, bro.
Is that
you already know this is the flamingo? Yeah, dude, that's the flamingo I want to fucking party with, dude. Like, if we're gonna invite a flamingo to a party, like that's the pink motherfucker that's gonna go, dude. Like,
you better have sunglasses
right
and
here
a
with
mustache.
You gotta
you
catch
better
eyes.
have sunglasses and mustache, or get the fuck out of here, flamingo.
Man, yeah. So that's the thing. You gotta stand out, and I think I personally, Take this with a grain of salt, because my opinion is worth about as much as everybody else's, which is 0. I think what you're doing is, everything you're doing, I have no objection to. I love the horror aspect. I love the hip hop aspect. I love the fact that you're genuine and trying instead of being like, I want to do this so I can make money, because one day on my Instagram I want to hold a stack of hundreds to my fucking head so a bunch of people will wish I was a fucking corpse.
Dude, I hate that shit
Right?
so fucking much, dude.
Get over
when
yourself.
I fucking look at someone's story and they have like all this money, I'm like, did you just go fucking take, like, is that all your rent?
Yeah.
Right.
Like that's
Good
your
for
rent
you.
that you're gonna go give to your landlord right now? It's like, dude, don't act hard, motherfucker. Like I could go take all the money. I could go take money out of my fucking bank and have that much money, but I'm not gonna fucking do it because I'm not why?
Crazy.
Like who are
It's
you to show
stupid.
off like that? Like,
And who are you
like,
trying to impress? The poor
seriously,
assholes
because-
who are beneath
Oh
you?
my god! And the thing is some people do fall into that. Some people do fall into the money. They're like,
It's
oh,
easy.
this guy's
It's
got
easy.
money. This guy's got this, and it's like, dude, then I feel fucking sorry for you. Like, if that's what you look for, if those are the people that you inspire to be, is all the people that have money and they're able to fucking, like, dude, those people, like. A lot of those people are fucking depressed. Like the money don't mean shit, dude. You look
But
at
on
all
the
these artists
outside-
and they're fucking and they're showing all their money but the
Right.
thing is they're also talking about
You're
being
only
sad
seeing-
as shit and
No.
everything else. So it's like, what do you want to do? You want to be sad and have all this money, or do you want to fucking respect yourself
Well,
and
and,
have
like-
love and try to make it if you can?
Yeah, and their life is scheduled for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, and you're seeing like everybody, social media has done this disservice to us. Unless you're honest about the things you are legitimately experiencing, most of everybody's social media are very curated pics and or posts that show you everything is totally fucking fine and everything's great. I like to
Yeah.
think that my social media feed is a realistic representation of who I am as a person, because we're all fucking disasters. If you look at someone's Facebook or their Instagram or whatever and you see nothing wrong with them, you know there is something very wrong with them.
Everybody's life is a roller coaster. It's
Yeah.
not just a flat line.
Everybody's fucked. Quit lying about it.
Yeah.
Like, and you see that because like like all these artists, like Juice World died. Like he died in the fucking at the airport. He overdosed at the airport. Mac Miller overdosed. There's all these
It's
people that have died because of
crazy.
drugs, and you see these people celebrate their lives and be like, oh, I wish I was like them, and we miss them, and the thing is, like, that's good. Like, we should miss these people and we should have empathy for them, of course. And if you were touched by their music and you miss them, then then feel for them, of course. But the thing is that when I see stuff like that, like, I don't want to aspire to be like those people. I want to try to be better than those people because those people, because those somewhere in their life, those people, there was something internally going on with them that we didn't see. And that's kind of what led to this. And that's what I'm saying. Like when I see people that have died, that are young and they have all this talent. It's sad to me because like that's wasted talent. That's wasted talent. You know, this person had this talent and they kind of wasted it because they killed themselves with drugs and shit like that. And it's a
double-edged sword,
fucking
my friend.
Sad, dude.
Well,
it really is. It really is.
Because here's the thing: if you are talented, weak-willed, you will be sucked in by a system that will offer you everything without limit. And if you are a weak-willed individual, you will blow yourself out. We've seen it a billion times with actors, comedians, musicians, or whatever. Like their talent gets them a key to unlock every door. Then they blow themselves away with drugs, boil their brains out, whatever. You know, we've seen it. Obviously, you could point to a million examples. I feel like I don't need to. But it's sad.
It's
like
fucking,
you think, why not keep your shit together? Like, but it's impossible for some people because you're sucked into the system that's exploitative. And if you don't have the balls to stand up against something, you're going to be like, yeah, I'll try coke because my friend over here, who's paid to be my friend, said it was a good idea. Whatever. I don't care. It's your life. I just feel like it's a shitty system that robs us of the thing that it put in front of our very face.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, never do things like that's, like that's one thing too that I've always believed in growing up, and this is what I'm going to tell my son too, is that I feel like there's no such thing as peer pressure. Everyone around you could be fucking telling you to do something, but if you decide to do something, that's ultimately in the end, that's your decision to do something. Those people didn't pressure you to do that. You gave in to that pressure. You said yes. You're always going to have pressure in your life. You're going to have pressure in your work. You're going to have pressure when you're making music. If you're making videos, there's going to be pressure on you all the time, but the thing is you have to learn not to fold under that pressure. So I think that the choices that because if you can say, oh, I made this choice because other people pushed me to make it, then you can fucking cop that on every fucking decision you make in your life, and you're never gonna own up to anything. And the thing is, you have to own the things that you do so that you can move forward. You can't keep looking on past decisions and dwelling on, well, fuck, I did this, maybe I should have done this. You have to say, no, I did this. I have to stick by what I did because that was my decision. Now I got to learn how to be able to move forward. Like even I've done drugs, like I've done. We don't have to go over the things that I've done, but I've done numerous amount of things growing up and stuff that would probably not make my mama very proud. But the thing is, a lot of I don't blame any of my friends or anyone that I grew up on any of the things that I wanted to do. A lot of those things that I wanted to do were because I wanted to try them. I wanted to have those experiences. And the thing is I didn't want it to go too far. So I was able to stop myself. And the thing is, a lot of people aren't able to, because they get into, like you said, like, oh shit, my friend's doing this and I gotta, a lot of people think too much about what other people are going to think about them. And so they try to form this image of what that should be, and they end up wearing this mask for so long that they don't know how to fucking take it off, and they actually become that person.
We can open up a whole new can of worms, man. Like,
yeah, that's very true.
When it comes to personal responsibility and integrity, those are two things I would not identify with the year 2020.
Yeah.
So, but that's part of it, is like, how much personal responsibility do you take? Because there are some simple-minded people who need to be told, hey, stop doing drugs because God says it's bad. And they go, thank God. Hallelujah. I found my 12 steps. Give it the big God. I got off drugs, pills, drinks, whatever. Yeah. And if that gets you off it, great. It's annoying, but great. Those of us,
hey, whatever
helps
for you to be able, whatever helps.
But those of us,
and works for you, whatever your vice is, vice can be any fucking form, dude. Vice isn't just like a drink or a smoke. Vice can be God. Vice can be a book that you read. It could be fucking anything.
My problem is this: I do not feel like I should dish out credit and or accolades and or whatever, because I know a lot of people who say, they have a lot of sobriety dates. They say, "Oh, I'm sober, give it up to God, whatever, yada, yada, yada." And I would be like, because I feel like those people are constantly calling out for attention. They say, 2 years sober, 3 years sober, 6 months sober, 3 days sober. It's always like, look at me, I'm doing this thing. Meanwhile, here I am living in moderation, doing just the right amount of drugs, drinking just the right amount of booze, living life as I should and get zero accolades. But you, who hit rock bottom and was sucking dick and smoking crack out of, a tinfoil wrapper that you got from a chicken restaurant behind the place that, in a dumpster, but you somehow turned it around, and we all have to give you a golf clap. Meanwhile, I live life to the fullest and utmost and be a productive member of society. But since I never hit rock bottom and bounce back, I don't get shit. Fuck that.
No, I don't get shit. Fuck that.
Listen,
Seriously.
I will give you credit for sinking to the whatever depths that drugs or booze or whatever your vice did to you and bounce back. That takes character.
Dude, that's why I used to watch the celebrity rehab and shit like that. And not to say that if you're not a celebrity, obviously you can have problems and addiction and shit like that, but they showcase these people of these celebrities, and it's like, oh, fucking boo hoo. And it's like, dude, I wanna fucking see this dude take in motherfuckers on the street, people that I know that I have problems come out here and film us,
it's all a matter of perspective.
It's fucking real out here.
That's Yeah, it's all a matter of perspective, and that's the thing, because I don't feel like I don't want to be like, hey, you did a good thing. After the thing that you did to destroy your entire life, you came back and did a good thing. Meanwhile, if you look at their track record, there's a huge divot where they were like, yeah, I was doing fine. Then I decided to get addicted to Vicodin or whatever that made them spiral and then bring them back up. Great, good. I don't want to downplay that. However, I didn't fuck up my life, so didn't have to do a tragic nosedive and then heroic pull up. So I will not be saying congratulations on your 2-year chip. Maybe it's harsh and I've got a heart of stone, but that's just the way I am. I went out of my way not to get addicted to heroin so I wouldn't have to have a brilliant coming of age story where I give up the needle. I will do exactly what I think I can get away with. Moderation, my friend.
Hey, dude, you gotta take everything in moderation, dude. Everything in moderation. That's how you get by, man.
There are a lot of things that I am annoyed about, and there are a lot of things that I think you should not be able. Whatever. Everyone can have an opinion. I'll preface this by saying you can have an opinion about whatever you want. However, if you have no experience in the field in which you are opinionating, don't give a fuck. Sorry about it.
Yeah, that's kind of how it goes.
Yeah, get some experience. I'll give a fuck. So all these people who I don't want to crack that nut open. So let's just do this. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because there's a lot of. Oh yeah. What was that, brother? Go ahead.
Let's just. We've been going for a solid 2 hours. I think we should probably wrap it up.
All right. Shit. Time goes by fast, man, when you're having fun.
Yeah. So for all of our listeners, for everyone listening in the future, for everybody coming across this, give us places where they can either see you, hear your music, etc. Plug your stuff, man.
Hell yeah. So you guys need to be checking me out. You guys need to follow me, listen to my music. You guys can find my Instagram. It's going to be Yattering with a fucking little underscore. So yeah, check that out. So Yattering is going to be Yattering for people that don't know how to spell, or if Yattering just sounds too confusing.
Yattering and Jack.
But yeah. And yep, Yattering and Jack. And then you guys can also find me on YouTube, Yattering Official. My music's on there. You guys can find me on SoundCloud as Yattering Official. And then if you guys want to follow my Twitter, there's not a lot going on there, but I'd love the love. That's going to be Yattering underscore as well. So you guys go check that out. Follow me.
Yeah, man. Anywhere you can get at it, do it. Here's the thing about Twitter. I'm sure there's a market for it. You and me, I don't feel aren't that market.
Man, I cannot fucking. I so bad at Twitter, dude.
Me too. I am like a motor mouth like me, and you say 140 characters. I'm like, nope. Sorry. Nope. Nah, I can't do it. Nah, yeah.
Seriously.
It would be like if you like a man crawled through the desert for 3 days and he shows up at this oasis and the guy's like, "Oh, thank God you made it. Here's a thimble of water." I'd be like, "Fuck you. This is an insult."
Yes, fuck you, dude.
I need more than 140 characters, and I will be goddamned if I'm going to release 9 fucking tweets being like, "So then I fuck that." So yeah, whatever. We're
Dude,
also on
it's
Twitter.
fucking just wild, dude. Yeah,
It's crazy.
fucking wild. So
It
honestly,
takes a
that's
certain
that's
person.
pretty much it. The IG, the SoundCloud, the YouTube. Those are the things I care about most. This year, the end of the year, I'm going to be hitting Spotify, so you guys can find me as Yattering on Spotify. So we're going to be getting our music across all platforms.
Nice.
So we're going to be
Also,
blowing up.
Here's a second plug. Listen to it was like 3 or 4 episodes ago when Yattering was on the show. I'll try and link it in the show notes here after this. Obviously, I can't do it now because this is live, but I'll link to it so you can get the first part of our interaction and hear the 3 tracks that we got access to. So,
Oh yeah, the Yattering and Dave. Go check that out.
yeah, the Yattering Day.
Dude, when you fucking put that name on there, I was like, that's fucking badass, dude. The Yattering and Dave. I was like, fuck yeah, this motherfucker.
Man, I've read
Dope
the Books
ass.
of Blood. Don't get me wrong. It's been a while, but I've read the Books of Blood.
Fuck
So
yeah.
I knew I had to make that reference. But and that was the thing too, like local and independent artists get response because people came out for it, man. Like your episode is still, I think, in like the top 5 performing episodes.
Badass, dude.
People love hip-hop.
That's so good to hear, dude. Every time you were letting me know that we were doing good, dude, that shit was that makes me feel good. So anyone that hasn't listened to that interview, definitely go check that out because that was a really good time. That's what started it all with me and Dave right here. So
Yeah,
that was a good time. So
There's definitely a link to our website in the show notes if you are watching, you want to watch or listen to that later or whatever. Yeah.
and then I have the link to the if you guys go into my IG, you guys can hit my link. I also have a link to our first interview as well. Boom. You press that's going to bring it right
Boom.
up to right up to the page.
It's fucking crazy. Like it people use so many different platforms. I have 2. I have YouTube and I have a podcast. And those I find hard getting together. But there's only one of me,
Yeah.
and again, I've got a toddler who
It's a full fucking time job.
holy
my
shit.
God.
Like imagine going to a job and being like, okay, it'll be a straight up 8 hours, you'll be in the field of your choice. Oh, but every once in a while, a person who is 2.5 feet tall will shit themselves, and you'll have to stop everything to
Oh my god,
to
dude.
take that shit and deal with it and get it on your hands. What a fucking nightmare.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. My kid, he fucking, dude, like, man, I'm sleeping. I'll be sleeping, and this motherfucker, it's time to eat, dude. Like, it's like 3:00 in the morning, and this dude's like fucking needing like a second midnight snack, dude. Like, I swear to God, like the Hobbits, like when you think of the Hobbits, like second brunch and fucking second
Third
breakfast and all
dinner.
this stuff, dude. That's a fucking kid. Yeah,
How old is he?
that's a baby growing up. Oh,
Oh.
he's only a month. Yeah, he's a
Oh
month old.
boy.
Kids,
Okay.
having a kid, for those of you who don't know, everybody wants to blow smoke up your ass and be like, it's the hardest job you'll ever love. And it's the most, blah, 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 blah. Like all these Hallmark platitude greeting bullshit.
I'm still
what it
waiting
is.
for it to be rewarding, dude.
Me too.
We're
2
me
years
too.
in. Here's what, for those of you out there on the fence about fucking someone and creating another life form, here's what it's like. It is like
Yeah.
inviting a chimpanzee into your home who, thank God, does not have the strength to kill you, but still has all the desire to fuck up everything you hold dear and shit themselves constantly.
Yep.
Holy God. Like,
Accurate.
the fact that humans exist as a species, I lay at the feet of buyer's remorse.
Dude, I was like, damn, dude. I was like, man, like, cause I got a kid, and I was like, man, you gotta have a lot of patience. Like, it really fucking tests you. And I'm like, man, like,
Yeah.
my parents, like, I don't know, dude. Having a kid is, I don't know how people are turned into adults because raising a kid is fucking
Yeah,
crazy.
I think
fucking hard, dude.
you don't realize until you have a kid when you have a kid and like 3 months in, everybody has this epiphany. It's anywhere between 1 and 12 months in. You say, "Oh my God, I can't believe I'm alive." Because if I was half as annoying as this little motherfucker, I should have been like tossed into the river Styx.
Yeah, I'm surprised I didn't get fucking shook. I'm surprised someone didn't shake me and I'm not fucking brain dead.
Yeah, we as a species, like, here's the thing. As a child, I thought, oh, isn't it interesting? Some species don't raise their own children. And then having a child, I thought, oh, isn't that appealing? That some species just crap out an egg and fuck off. Or some species just have a kid and the kid's like, bye forever. And they fuck off.
Bye forever. They were ahead of the tide, man. They were ahead of the tide. They're like, hey, here's the world. This is it. You're born into it. Go live.
If I had to do it all over again, they were like, would you rather be an animal? Like, let's say you had to be a koala where your offspring clings to your ass for the first 2 years of its life, or you're a sea turtle where you crap in a hole and forget all about it. Sea turtle.
Sea turtle, seriously.
Kayla says FFOP Jr. is going to feel so good about himself when he watches these years.
This is the story of every human. I don't care who you are. I don't care who your parent is.
Older, like the shit.
No, every parent is blowing smoke. Having a kid is a fucking nightmare that I'm sure will pay off eventually, because otherwise,
why do it?
I don't know. So that's the thing. I'm sure that eventually you get to raise this simian creature into a full-blown adult, and you can look at it, and I'm sure it's like the best model train set ever. One day you open the door, and the trees are perfect, and the track is perfect, and all your conductors, and there's smoke, and you think,
they're doing
holy
everything
fuck.
themselves.
Yeah.
My dad probably feels pretty happy, dude. He gets to smoke a joint with his son now.
Yeah,
there you go.
18 years in the making, and I can finally shut this door and like clap your hands.
Yeah, I could. Yeah. Finally talk to you like you're a person.
Yeah, like kids are like, it's okay. Maybe it's like this. It's not necessarily it's always a burden, but like imagine constantly carrying a duffel bag. Like it maybe is 15 pounds. It's a slight inconvenience. And most of the time you don't care because you're dealing with it. It's part of your normal life. But every once in a while you got to squeeze through a short door or something narrow, or maybe you got to move and it's a fucking pain in the ass because you cannot go anywhere without this duffel bag. And most of the time you're like, it's actually okay. It serves a purpose. But then sometimes you're like, this fucking duffel bag.
This fucking duffel.
The duffel bag slowly gets heavier and heavier.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing. There's someone behind you every day putting another rock into the duffel bag.
Hey, this duffel bag's gonna carry himself one day, so fucking set him down, get legs. They're gonna be going.
Having a kid is probably the weirdest thing that anyone can ever do, and no one will fucking tell you that.
Yep.
Yeah.
They'll be like, oh, you should do it. I think it's because secretly they want you to suffer too.
Oh, yeah.
I want you to suffer too. I want you to fucking have a kid with me now.
Yeah, now that I have a kid, I can't wait to start asking people, when are you going to have kids? Because I want you to feel this.
Yeah.
I know, fuck. Like some of our friends started getting pregnant, and then my lady got pregnant, and I was like, God damn, it's like contagious.
Something in the water.
Yeah.
Anywho. Yattering, man, it's been a blast. I appreciate you coming on the show.
Hey, man, thanks for having me. This was a lot of fun. Thank you again.
Yeah, man. Anytime. We'll obviously, off air, we'll talk about the virtual concert, because I think that'd be sick. I have 2 smoke machines, so we can make this. We can make this a real.
Let's just take apart all of our smoke detectors because they will go off.
Well, we would obviously do it someplace.
Yeah. Oh, kind of open up some, get some fans in there a little bit. I'll like open up my shirt, like I'll have like a button-up shirt, like open it, like still like be breathing. I haven't worked out in a while, so I don't know. Hopefully, I don't have a dad bod yet. So
we'll do like a '90s Boys to Men video shoot where like you'll be on a dune and the camera will be swirling around and your shirt is just flapping in the wind and you're like, like.
Fucking day, dude.
Psy Music says this interview was awesome. I'm definitely subscribing.
Hey, if you like this, we've got stuff similar.
Yep.
Fuck yeah. Check out all of FFOP radio stuff, man. Check out all of this shit. All right, this motherfucker's fly. And any of you artists out there, if you guys are listening, hit this motherfucker up. See what you guys can do to get an interview. Like, get the fuck. Like, come on, guys. Like, I'm doing it. You guys,
every Friday
hit
I've got
motherfucker up. Get your guys an interview.
Yep.
And that's the thing. First time around, for the first 10 years of this show, I really downplayed the music aspect, even though I was literally every week trolling Newgrounds, reaching out to artists, being like, hey, I'm a nobody. You are also probably, can I play your music on my show? And they'd say yay or nay. How far we've come.
Yep. Here we are.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah, dude. It's all growth, man. Keep growing, dude. Keep doing your thing. And then absolutely more to come from Yattering, more to come from FFO Radio. And then, we're been teasing this live show. So you guys need to fucking stay in contact with us and see what's going to be happening. Cause we're making big moves this year. I
think I love collaborations, and the fact that they never happen makes me want them even more. So, like, here's the thing though. When we should probably just, whatever. I can't talk. It's like 2.5 hours now. Sorry, everybody.
All right, man.
I don't mean to keep you up so late. So, guys.
All right, we'll cut this short, man. Well, it was good talking with you, brother. Thanks for having me on here.
Yattering, thank you, everybody in the typing square. Thank you for showing up and watching and listening.
I love all you guys.
We will catch you all next time, and keep an eye on us for the next. Whatever this show is.
Now that the kid's
asleep.
Mask up, wash up, fucking get to bed.
Yeah, good hand hygiene. Keep that shit